went live on Twitch, and then I didn't go live on YouTube for like another 5 minutes, and I was like, whoops. Thankfully, you guys reminded me, and then I went live on YouTube. Anyway, we're back. Twitch drops are back. Everything is back. We're feeling good. We're feeling good. So I'm sorry we're live about an hour later than normal. I'm sure you guys understand why. So usually what happens, right? Usually what happens is on Wednesdays, I build the example scenes, right? So for the Dreamsnap videos, I do these guide videos every week. They're getting very popular, by the way. Like the Dreamsnap tip videos I make every week are getting some great viewership over on YouTube. A lot of people are tuning in. A lot of people are tuning in for the tip videos. So I make these videos pretty much every week, and usually on Wednesday we make the example scenes. But as you guys know, yesterday was a big day. We finished the new STARPATH. We unlocked Ralph. We finished the exhibition. We checked out all the new premium stuff. We checked out the new Moonstone bundle. We looked at some of the new features. We cried about the Aurora for 2 hours. We had a very busy day. So because of that, I didn't really have a chance to make my example scene. And I have been working non-stop since first thing this morning. So I got up. I actually went to bed really early last night because I had, I was so tired. I had 3 hours of sleep yesterday. I went to bed around like 10:30, fell right asleep, got up today at like 8 a.m. and immediately started working on this example scene and the video, and I just finished it. I didn't even have breakfast. Before the stream, I went and ate a protein bar. That's how busy I've been. I have not done much of anything today besides sit at my computer and work on this for you guys. But it's done. It's done, and I'm feeling good. Now I haven't placed all the villagers back yet, like they were in the theme. But yeah, the guide video for this week's challenge is up. I think it's really good. It talks about a lot, and it also, the example scene I made uses a lot of the new stuff. I think it's so fun. I really love the San Francisco Bridge. This is probably one of my favorite new items here, and I got to put my villagers back in. And also we have special effects set up for the festival. Because, it's a festival. We want it to be festive. We want that good festive feel. So, yeah, we got fireworks. We got confetti. And one of the most important things that I talked about a lot in today's video was that you really, the most important thing for you to have this week is not the new StarPath items. It's not the big koi fish. It's not the balloons. It's not the bridge. It's not any of the San Francisco stuff. The most important stuff is villagers. So, well, I should say the most important things are villagers. So, your villager toggle is the key to success this week, you guys. I cannot stress that enough. I really can't. Because it's not going to feel like a festival without a crowd. And if you want to feel like a summer festival, you want to be really particular about who you use. Here's the fun thing. You don't have to have these expensive summer dream styles. You really don't. We have good summer villagers, right? Really, you just kind of want to avoid using like winter dream styles. Honestly, Samantha says, so is my selfie not good enough? It could be. Selfies get 4K if they're actually well made and like well thought out. Why am I cold? So selfie, actually, I mean, I've seen some great selfies out there. Before I get into everything though, let me shout out, oh my God, we already have Hype Train. Let's go. Thank you guys. Thank you. I do appreciate that train. Also, thank you for the hearts on YouTube, you guys. I see you guys liking the YouTube stream. Thank you. Kirsty, hello. Susan, hello. Welcome. They broke my villager toggle. What do you mean? What do you mean they broke it? What happened? Broke it. Thank you for the bits, you guys. Let me shout out all this love here. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Today we are on goal number 220. We've had our last 219 consecutive goals in a row. Thank you so much, you guys, for all the love on yesterday's stream and just all the streams in general and all the videos. I appreciate it so much. Jennifer, thank you for the first bits of the day. Jennifer with 100 bits says, itty bitty start to the day. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Pokey Grandma coming in with 100 bits as well. Thank you, Pokey Grandma. Tad Galaxy, welcome back, my friend. Welcome back. Fantastic to have you. I love snails too. What a fun name. Says hi. First time chatter. Hello, my friend. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. I love snails. Is your favorite item in the game that, like, giant snail on the rock? I would, like, judging by your name, I would just assume you have that everywhere. I'd assume that since it's a landscaping item and you have an unlimited amount of them, I would assume your valley's just full of those. It should be. If it's not, that's a tragedy because you love snails. Tater says, okay, tips video done. Oh, did you just finish it? Nice, nice, nice. Fallen Angel with the very generous bits here. Fallen Angel with the big 500 bits. Says, hey, your tip video was exactly what I needed to get some inspiration for this week. Thank you. You're very welcome, my friend. You're very welcome. You know what's funny is I needed it too. I actually wasn't really feeling this theme too much. I was, you know, compared to what we had in the past. I even talked about that yesterday. But once I started building my example here, I actually fell in love with the theme and the concept and like making a festival, especially with the new items. Because I wasn't really thinking about the new items too much when I read the theme. But then when I built my scene with like the San Francisco Bridge and I put the Coco stage in the back and we have the Moana float and we have this big riverway on each side of the bridge and we have these new koi fish and it just ended up being so much fun. And that's what Dreamsnaps is all about, you know? When it comes to making your Dreamsnaps, if you want good results, enjoy the process. Like, have fun with it. Have fun with it. Because if you're having fun, you're going to do more. Like, I would have probably had that video out so much earlier, and I probably wouldn't have been able to go live on time if I just threw something together and didn't care about it. But I was having a great time building this, and I wanted to make it good for the video. I wanted to, you know, the theme itself says you could do music.
Applause break.
You could. The theme itself said you could do music. It said you could do food, and you could do parades. Like, you don't have to do all of them. But I wanted to make a scene that had all of them. You know, so we have the Coco stage in the back. We have food around us here. We're occupying the street to show the street is closed because it's a street festival. And we have fireworks in the street. We have the celebration day baskets here. And then to highlight summer, we have like ice cream and popsicles and shaved ice. And we also have water and the koi fish and palm trees in the corner. And then in the background, we have a parade float. So there's a parade happening back here on the other side of the bridge and a concert happening on the left-hand side. So it ended up being a lot of fun. I ended up really enjoying this, and I hope you guys enjoy this theme as well. If you were on the fence about this theme,
notice me.
Hopefully now, after like seeing the video and seeing like how there's so many fun ways you can highlight this theme and play with it, hopefully you guys are now feeling a little bit more excited about the theme, because that's how I was yesterday. I was like, you know, I really liked, the last week's theme was so fun. The Fabled Relics was one of the coolest themes we've had in a long time. And I loved it so much that I was like just not as excited about this theme at first. But then when I started playing with some of the new items and I started decorating for the scene, I really enjoyed it. So hopefully you guys feel the same way. Because at the end of the day, having fun with the themes is a big part of being able to put something beautiful together. Eyes of Sorrow, thank you for the gifted sub, my friend. That is very kind of you. Eyes of Sorrow, gifting to Tilly Scrump. Here, thank you. Had to emphasize the P because I think I almost said skunk. Mine's glitch. With a little bar not showing up on my map, not in the house, or Ralph Sames glitch. A glitch, you say? Zombie, thank you for the hundo. Eyes of Sorrow, thank you for the hundo. Much appreciated. Also, Tazzy, thank you for the hundo. Cambria, thank you for the hundo. Oh, we got a first-time chatter, and their first-time chat ever is actually a very generous 8 bits. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Rachel Lemia coming in. First-time comment ever, and it's supporting the stream. That is so sweet of you. Thank you, my friend. Wrote my heart also with the 50 bits. Thank you. Wait a minute. I swear to God, I just saw... Oh, maybe I'm crazy. I thought I saw the Gritty Goose pop up on my hype train, but I think it was actually Eyes of Sorrow's comment with the Gritty Goose. Belby, thank you for the 200 bits. Dream Chaser Grace coming in. First-time chatter as well. Hello, my friend. Hello. Welcome in. Beagle Mama, shout out for the big 300 bits and the applause break. Isn't that the one we got yesterday? Eyes of Sorrow, thank you for 100 bits. Jangle Bells, thank you for the big 509 bits. Glitz and Dram, thank you for the hundo. Wow, you guys, thank you. Already almost halfway on the goal, and we're just getting started. Dreamer said I cannot reset my floating island. No, Dreamer, we talked about that yesterday. I know you weren't able to be here, but they have temporarily removed that feature. It'll be back. So the reason they removed the reset floating island toggle, if you read the patch notes, they were going to add a reset biome toggle as well. They were planning on adding a reset biome, but it was dangerously broken and it could cause issues with your game. So they had to remove the reset biome option, which I think by default also removed the reset island option. Now, don't worry about it, Dreamer. If you need to reset your floating island, just use group select. Just use group select. You can clear a floating island in seconds with group select. All you have to do is open your furniture menu, toggle into group select, and then drag your cursor over a bunch of stuff and just remove everything at once. So, you know, no, I've been way too busy for that, Zombie. Like I said, I'll probably make the petition for the Aurora this weekend. I'll probably make it this weekend. I don't know if you were here yet. I think you were. But I got up at 8 a.m. I didn't even have breakfast. I literally immediately started working on the example scene because I wanted to have this done. I wanted to see if I can finish the video by 3, but no, I didn't get the video done until like 3:30, 4 o'clock, so I ended up having to go live at 4:30 instead. So I unfortunately did not get a new emote this time around. I'm glad you guys did. Robbery did, Tazzy did, Glitz and Glam, or Glitz and Dram, Eyes of Sorrow, and Fallen Angel. I have that one already. I have all the level 1, level 2, and level 3 emotes. The only emotes I don't have for Twitch are, I think I'm missing 5 level 5 emotes, and then there's like a few level 6, 7, or 6, I think 8 and 10 and some of those, but I'm not even worried about those. I'm not worried about the, wait, when did I get a Darkrai? When did I get Darkrai? What the heck? Where'd that come from? Maybe it's because I streamed Pokopia a lot. Maybe they hooked me up with that. That's cool. That's cool. Caroline Murphy, hello, hello. So excited for the new theme. So glad it isn't Ralph themed. I love him so much. I didn't want to rush his friendship. Fair enough, fair enough. Hang on one second. Okay, I can breathe now. That's better, that's better. Yeah, I think yesterday I ended up getting the applause break. Yeah, I think we got this one yesterday. There we go, there we go. Is it easier to do Dream Snaps with the new villager toggle? I haven't had a chance to play around with it since it came out. Absolutely, yeah. Let me show you how it works. So with the new villager toggle, you can actually place them wherever you want them. It's pretty much the new meta, you know, like, and you can also, and you know, the way it used to work, you just toggle them on and they would just appear somewhere. But with this new villager toggle, you can choose where they go. And you can also choose, let me get him to where I can see him. You can also choose how they, you know, look, like you see Timon here. I can have him like, hey, right there. So you can place the villagers where you want them. That's actually what I'm doing right now. I had this scene finished, but I had to exit out of it to like finish my video. So I'm just putting my villagers back. Maybe Donald can be selling. Yeah, maybe Donald can sell the popsicles. Or he can be buying shaved ice. Yeah, we can have Donald buying shaved ice with Mickey. And we can always have... We need a tall villager selling the shaved ice. Let's put Goofy back there. And you know what? The Great Goofini outfit works because it's red, white, and blue. That's pretty summer. If you're in the States, that's pretty summery. How do we want to pose Donald here? Or Goofy here? Let's just do idle. And then I need... Okay, I have Summer Scrooge. I have Summer Stitch. We have Summer Merlin. Let me turn that speech bubble off. Let's bring Mushu in. So yeah, what I like to do now, Ims, is with the smaller villagers, I put them towards the front, and then I put like taller one towards the back. But yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. The new villager toggle is awesome. I can show you some other snaps I've made with it. It is super useful. Yeah, Mushu beside the fireworks actually makes a lot of sense. Let's have Mushu do... I'm just going to have him do his regular selfie pose where he bounces on his tail, because that's pretty cute. For Vanellope, I think I'm going to have her... Yeah, actually, the hello is pretty nice, but she kind of clips into Stitch there when she does that. The sad one's kind of cute. It's like she wants something. Having her ask for ice cream would be kind of cool with that sad expression. I like that one. I like this one here. That's fun. So we already got Summer Merlin. Let's put... and I really like the Anna with the green dress for this because it's more of a summer dress, you know? It's got the exposed sleeves. Like, you know, there's... It's not very wintry. That's why I like this one. Let's put Anna right here with the ice cream stand. I'll put her beside Merlin so we can still see the ice cream. And we'll pause Anna. Let's see, who else do we want in here? And don't worry, guys, we're going to start our Dreamsnap Q&A here in a minute for any questions you guys may have about the challenge. I'm just setting up my little example scene again. And then we'll dive right in. We'll dive right into the fun stuff. Oh, and we got to discuss Dreamsnap results as well. We'll probably do that first. To be fair, we'll probably do that first. Let's do hello with Ariel. There we go. And we'll bring Prince Erican beside Ariel, maybe right behind her, coming across the bridge. There we go. I think that's good. Maybe not the selfie. We'll do... I might just do idle for him. Yeah, we'll just do idle for him. Oh, good. And when he's here, Max comes walking in. Oh, yeah, I need to add Moana because she has Pua attached to her. Let's bring in Moana. Where should I put Moana? Let me look around. It's going to be kind of like this, so... I think Moana may be on the left-hand side. Or we're going to have Moana on the right-hand side since we have the float over there. Yeah, I think I might do right-hand side for Moana. Actually, I kind of want her closer so Pua walks through the scene a bit more. Yeah, we can put her kind of behind Scrooge a little bit. There we go. That adds a little extra to the left-hand side. And let's see. Rapunzel could be good. Vanellope's good. Having the kiddos at the festival, I think, is good. Oh, Flynn's here. I didn't know Flynn was here earlier. I can have him getting excited about the popsicles. I can have him do his little thing where he... Oh, we can't really see him there. Might move him... Yeah, I think we'll see him there. And then we'll do the... Yeah, it's his happy where he puts his hands out like that. There we go. Now, who else can we bring in? Mirabelle could be good. Let's add Mirabelle. We'll put her coming up the bridge, but not too far. Kind of in front of Maui. Maybe right there. And we'll have her... Yeah, we'll have her celebrate. could do Oswald. Oh, Joy would be good. And Joy's kind of short, so I kind of need somebody short to fill in this space right here. Okay, she might need to get a little closer so my arm doesn't hide her. Can I get her right there? Maybe if I change her expression. Oh yeah, discussion will work. There we go. And we can actually have Sadness come in too. We'll put Sadness right here, because she's small. And we can even have Sadness look a little happy here, because it's a festival. There we go. All right, there we go, there we go. We got our little festival scene. Let's pause and unpause. I just noticed I'm covering Timon's face. I'll have to move Timon again. Tinkerbell could be good too, because she flies. Actually, yeah, I got a good spot for Tinkerbell. There we go. Maybe a little bit more to the left for Tink. That's better. That's better. And... oh, yeah. Piglet's a good small villager. We can put Piglet in here. We'll kind of put Piglet next to Sadness there. And we'll have him do his cute little wave. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good, but we do need to move Timon to the left just a hair. I think that should do it. No, I think it actually needs to be a tiny bit more. I'm gonna put him like over here. Yeah, there we go, there we go. That's perfect, that's perfect. All right, now let's fix my pose. Ta-da! And let's fix our settings. We'll go saturation to 0.3 to make it nice and colorful. The vignette border, I'm actually going to keep it on, but I'm going to reduce it to -25. And then I'll go highlight 1, but light bloom down. Maybe we don't need the highlight. Nah, I think the highlight's all right. My character lighting is still bugged. No way. Okay. And now we activate our visual effects. And boom! We got ourselves a beautiful summer festival. All right, there we go, there we go. There's our little example. Very fun, very fun. Yeah, Piglet's no out of his cute. I haven't put it on him yet. I probably won't use it this week because I need him small. I need him to be tiny, so I'm not gonna have the wings on him this week. Smith said, amazing. This is the best ever. Thank you. Dream Chase Grace said, beautiful. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Smith said, mine's better. Such a party. It is. It is. And it's got a lot of fun color. We're using like a row of buildings in the back. I just love, my favorite thing is the San Francisco Square here, the bridge. The San Francisco Bridge is probably my favorite item from the new StarPath. It's just so much fun. It's just so much fun. But yeah, there's our summer festival. Everybody looks, you know, Sadness is the only one that's wearing something that feels more wintry. But, you know, we have Stitch in his summer style, Merlin in his summer style, Scrooge in his summer style. Then we have summer icons like Moana, Maui, Ariel, and Eric. We have Magician Mickey, because it looks like a festival outfit, and, you know, a street fair would probably have magicians. So we did Magician Mickey there. Goofy is wearing his Great Goofini, which is red, white, and blue, which kind of works for the American summer festivals if it's around 4th of July. Timon just kind of works everywhere because he doesn't even wear clothes. And, you know, we get more of a summer feel by having all this water here and the shaved ice and the popsicles and the fireworks and the fountains and the koi fish. You know, a lot of things that kind of play up the summer season. And we also have these Tigger balloons flying in the sky here to play up the summer festival and also fill our skyline a bit. It's a lot of fun stuff you can do this week. A lot of fun stuff you can do. All right. So, yeah, it took me a long time today. Love LOL Vela's face, though. I know. I just thought it was funny. This isn't actually my dream snap, by the way. This is just the example scene. I always do things a little bit differently for my official submission. Any idea why I don't have a focus/aperture on my camera? Let me guess, Shorty. You're on Switch. You're on Nintendo Switch or Apple Arcade? I can tell you why. So, on the lower graphic presets, hang on, why isn't my, there we go. On the lower graphic presets, there actually isn't a camera blur. There's no camera blur. I think, Silvertab, I think Xbox One is on medium graphic presets, which does have a camera blur, but I've never played on Xbox One, so if Xbox One doesn't have camera blur, then yeah, there wouldn't be a focus on that either. I thought it was just Switch that played on low graphic presets, though, but Shorty said playing on Switch 2. Have you upgraded to the Switch 2 version? I have the game on Switch 2, but I actually haven't messed with it too much. I know on Nintendo Switch, there is no blur. So, with focus, like, if you play on Nintendo Switch, there's never a blur in the back, so you don't, you know, there was no focus there either. It wasn't there when I last used it, upgraded Xbox X. Okay, gotcha. Also, is it too late to post our Dreamsnap results? No, you can still post there. Vox's Switch 2 doesn't have focus. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I have the game on Switch 2, I just never play it on Switch 2. So, does Switch 2 have the blur, though? Does Switch 2 automatically blur in portrait mode? Oh, okay. Okay. So, yeah, that's how it would work on low graphic presets as well. Rob said, I don't know how I play on this game. I know that, Rob. I know that. So, on the platforms where there is no blurry background, they don't add the focus or aperture features. Now, on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, typically anything that's playing on the high-end graphic presets, if you go into portrait mode, the background is automatically blurry, and the foreground and midground are focused. So they gave the focus slider to allow you to make your background crisp instead of blurry, but it should be that way by default on Switch and Xbox and stuff. Can you check out my snap? I did post it on Facebook post. My Twitch name is in the middle name there. Got 1,500. Oh, in the results, Scuttle? In the results? Yeah. We'll go ahead and take a look at those now. Yeah, because usually we discuss snap results on Wednesdays, the day we get them. But yesterday was a little bit busy. So yeah, did you make the result post? Yes, JMR, I did. You can still comment on it if you want. I just made it around 4. So it's pretty recent because I was editing all day. I didn't have a chance to really make it. So the weekly Facebook post is up if you want me to talk about your results. It's right here. I just made this post about 1 hour ago. There's already 86 snaps shared here. So we already have a lot of snaps to look through on here. So yeah, if you go ahead, guys, go ahead. I'll give you, I can put a link to this in the chat. If you want to put your snap, just make sure you put your result and rank there as well. Here's the link. I'll spam it in chat. Robson, share your results here. Listen. It's important that we look at the 4K results. That's how we determine what kind of advice to give, you know? So I say he never pays attention to me. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? M says, is it still worth it to get daisy trophies? Do I need to chat villagers now? No, not really. I mean, I will say this, M's. There are a handful of unique villager poses that are not part of the toggle, like Hercules catching the giant rock, and some other unique animations where the only way to get those animations now would be to trap your villager and snap your photo when they do them. So you could still use those, but yeah, I have not used Touch of Magic items to trap villagers a single time since we got this new feature. It just hasn't been necessary. And you just saw how I was able to put this snap together. But let me show you, what else you can do here. So for Fabled Relics, M's, with the villager toggle, you can tell a lot of stories. And if you look at high-ranking snaps, now this doesn't work for every theme. Some themes, stories aren't as impactful. For example, in Your Element, it wasn't the best storytelling challenge. This challenge was all about highlighting the magic of an element. And if you put a bunch of villagers in here that don't have anything to do with water, well, it could dilute the theme a bit. Now, if you are going to use villagers, I would recommend villagers that work very well with that element. So for Earth, adding Pocahontas is going to be really good. For water, you can add Ariel and Ursula and stuff like that. But for this particular challenge, villagers are still great to have, but the storytelling elements weren't as necessary. But featuring a villager is still a bonus. Whereas in a challenge like Fabled Relics, where we are going on an adventure and there's lurking creatures and there's fabled relics, well, you have a lot of great opportunities to tell a story here. So we used our villager toggle to have Scar as one of our lurking creatures, and then we put Scar on his angry expression, where it looks like he's, about to pounce. And then we put Gaston on his angry expression, so it looks like he's about, he's trying to scare Scar off and get him away from here. And then we have Jafar in his confused expression, because, he doesn't look confused if you pause it right here. He looks more intrigued. Because, if there's fabled relics around, it would make sense that Jafar would want to get his hands on them. That's kind of the whole plot point with him when it comes to Eternity Isle. So having Scar here, or sorry, not Scar, but Jafar here, it rhymes, with the level 3 time core. And then Soli is also doing his angry expression, but he's kind of giving Jafar the eyes like he's going to get him as he's sneaking out of the fog here. Timon has the confused expression, which looks like worry. He looks really worried here. And the reason he's worried is because Flynn is stuck in this spider web. And lastly, we have Donald here and Timon here very excited about the sacred relic we've just found, and the Avatar very surprised to find it. So with certain Dreamsnap challenges, this villager toggle is the new meta. It is incredibly powerful. And you're going to see that a lot of the snaps in the top 1,000 are typically going to be not only beautiful, not only capturing the theme, but telling sometimes one, sometimes two, sometimes multiple different stories. And that just shows that you put a lot of extra thought into your snap. It's not about time. You don't need to put a ridiculous amount of time into your submissions. It's about putting thought into them. Like, how can I use these villagers? What kind of story can I tell? It doesn't take very long to drop your villagers into place and to pause them doing some kind of animation. The tricky thing is you got to figure out, how to position them and what kind of story you want to tell. And then also when it comes to challenges like this, if you're showing a festival, you have an opportunity here to really make it feel like a festival. If you actually go to a street festival somewhere, it's not going to be one or two people, right? It's going to be busy. There's going to be hustle and bustle. There's going to be celebration. There's going to be a lot going on. It's kind of the same thing with Journey into Imagination. This was a challenge all about an expo, but not just a regular expo, a universal expo, which is a world fair. This is a global event where people come from all over the earth to check out one particular nation's technology, industry, culture. It's all highlighted at a World Fair. So these are very busy events. So for an event like this, we're going to use a lot of villagers. And thanks to the new villager toggle, you can put them all to where their faces are all clearly visible. Might take a little bit of moving them around and kind of tinkering with them, but you'll be able to get it with some time and effort. And you can also have them interacting with things in the environment, like Donald and Mike Wazowski here checking out the telescope and Merlin showing it off. A lot of fun stuff you can do with the villager toggle. So ever since we got this feature, you know, it's just been incredibly useful. All right. Now let's talk about snap results. I think you guys have had time to put your snaps in, right? So we're going to be checking out the results for In Your Element. So this challenge was all about creating a scene and highlighting, you know, your element, capturing the magic of the elements. The big three that we saw the most were Earth, Water, and Fire, but there were also some great wind submissions out there. Or Air. Oh, now we already have 100 submissions on here. Dang. All right, well, let's take a look at what you guys have here. Kim, 4K, 8 in a row here. Very nice. Super surprised I got 4K. I wouldn't be too surprised, Kim. You know, you featured your element really well, and you clearly put thought and time into your build. It's not always about, you know, when it comes to Dream Snaps, it's not always about making some, like, super magnificent scene with a lot of depth of field. Sure, there's some things that may rank higher, just depends on what you pop up against. But as long as you put thought into your snap, and the most important thing is capturing the theme, and you did that. Caroline here says, after my review, I decided to go in a different direction, but had a complete meltdown and ended up submitting this selfie. I love the colors, but I knew it was a risk. At least I got 2,500 moonstones. I mean, 2,500 moonstones for a selfie is actually really good. And what's really fun about this is, I mean, you did a good job with the avatar style, and you just posed in front of a fish tank and took a selfie in front of it, and you're in the top 10% of all Dream Snaps. That's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say thought is more important than time. When you can figure out how to do something good. And getting 2,500 moonstones for a quick and easy selfie is fantastic. That is fantastic. I've actually had, like, Mama Dukes and some other, like, really good players that have gotten 4K a lot have actually tested themselves by doing selfies to see if they can get 4K, and they have. So selfies can get 4K depending on how they're built. And yeah, you know, I think, I'm not surprised this got 2,500. I think that's pretty fun. You know, risky for sure, because it's going to be, there's just some snaps out there that would be really hard to contend against with a selfie built this way. But most snaps kind of struggle with the theme. And there's a lot of snaps that I would definitely choose this over, 100%. Tori Thornhill here got rank 806. You know, playing up the meta, right? They have the camera close to the avatar here. We can see their outfit. They're highlighting their element really well. I like the dragon in the back. That really makes this, in my opinion, dragon's awesome. Could have potentially got an even higher rank if you added in some detail to your lava here. Oh, good to see Zombie ended up getting 4K here. I was curious to see how this did, because most of the Earth element shots, you know, they didn't have like much man-made stuff in them. So this got rank 8,282. but it does capture the theme well. Still playing up the meta of being close to the avatar. It was, you know, on the lower side of 4K, but it's still 4K. And I think it's because you have great lighting. You're close to the avatar. You have a really, really good outfit. I think the reason it's likely on the lower end of 4K, which doesn't really matter because you get the same moonstones as everybody else, except for the top 5. But I think the reason is probably like the tech and like the man-made stuff. Most of the like super high ranking Earth style submissions we saw, everything in the scene was like all about the element. But yeah, this has plenty of the element, so not surprised it got 4K. Like this one got ranked 739 here. And we have, you know, villagers that work really well. Good outfit for the avatar. Gryffindor Panda on a 5-week streak with 4K. Very nice, very nice. Amy said mine got 4K, and I was very surprised. I didn't have much time to spend on it. I never had motifs so prominent, so I didn't know how it would do. Well, the outfit is very good. And what you have to remember is we don't have outfit challenges anymore. Now every challenge is both. You know, or neither. It just depends on how you build it. So sometimes if you have a good enough background, your outfit and the way you style the avatar can carry you into 4K. It just depends on how you structure your scene. And this is another good example of how putting thought into a dream, it doesn't require a ton of time to get 4K. Because as Amy here said, I didn't have time to spend on it. But they clearly put thought into their submission. And, you know, they ended up getting 4K. A top 600 rank here. Very good, very good, very beautiful. Highlights the earth element very well. Shelby's here was top 100. Very earthy, very strong. Bethany ended up getting 4K for hers. Very nice, very nice. Not surprised Claudia got 4K here. Beautiful work. Oh, good. Kira's did get 4K. Really got mine got 4K. I really struggled with this one after you recommended to pivot from my original, but I'm glad I did. I will try to be more open to criticism going forward. Well, as I mentioned when I saw this on the Dreamsnap Hub, like when you shared it, because you also did a water one, and I was like, I would definitely stick with the wind because there's not a lot of strong wind ones. But in the end, you know, the concern was you had a lot of, you had a lot of the legendary moment style stuff, like, you know, the golden opal floor and like some of the marble pillars and structures. And you were also wearing the toga. So my concern there was, if players see it, they might think it's a recycled snap. But when you pivoted into this, you kept your concept of doing the wind, but you added in some great additional items. You added in the swirling sand. You added in these leaves that blow in the wind. You have this good wind kind of passing by here. And you changed your outfit to something that works really well with the wind dynamic here. You also got your hair blowing in the wind. And you have this feather on your pearl necklace here as well. So it ended up turning out very, very nice. And I'm glad you got 4K for it, because not a lot of people did wind, and this is a great wind snap. Now, oh, Dreamy Dewdrop got 1,500 for this. Does sting losing my 4K streak, but I was sick and very sleep deprived this challenge, so I expected it. I didn't get to put the usual effort in as I do for most snaps. Still not too shabby for a snap I threw together last minute while under the weather. Here's to a new streak starting, hopefully. I mean, it's definitely not a bad snap. You know, I could see this potentially getting 4K, depending on what it pops up against. but there were a lot of really strong snaps out there. So the outfit design is really nice, and you also included villagers that work really well for a water-based build. My biggest critique for this one is, you know how I'm always warning you guys against the color white and the color gray? It's okay to have some of that in your outfit, but if it's not a winter-style snap, I would avoid these white trees, because if you were to have, you know, more deep colors, you know, voters love those bold colors. They love bold colors, and when it comes to, like, whites or grays being present in your snap, oftentimes they can kind of suck the color out of the scene. But you guys have probably heard me caution against these trees 1,000 times. But this is a good example as to why. I truly think with how well you design the avatar and how good you got the water set up here and how you have this nice silhouette in the back, if you would have styled just the background a little bit differently, I think there's a very high likelihood this could have gotten 4K. Now, Laura here got 1,500 moonstones for this one. And I think this is a pretty strong Earth submission, honestly. They did a good job with the outfit. You know, they have a good Earth villager. They have great color. But this is also why I caution against heavy use of motifs. And I think the other thing that could have hurt this is there weren't a lot of snaps that had some of the bigger fantasy elements, like the giant mushrooms. There were some. But I think this would have actually looked a lot better without this raven here, because we would get the beautiful fireflies filling out the sky here. And then without the owl, because he doesn't really feel like he's part of the tree. But this is exactly why I caution against... Motifs can be really good if they truly feel like they're part of the scene. I mean, I've used motifs multiple times in my snaps. It's just very tricky. And it also depends on what kind of voters you get. There aren't really any voters out there that are going to dislike your snap simply because you did not use motifs. But there are voters out there that are possibly not going to like your motifs. That's why I'm always discussing motifs when I see them heavily utilized, because you got to be really careful with them. They can sometimes make a snap stronger, but they can also sometimes feel a little out of place. But yeah, this is really pretty. It's a shame it got 1,500, but 1,500 is still in the top 20% of all snaps. So Dree got rank 8 with her Earth theme here. I knew this one was going to do well. We talked about it quite a bit. I think during the review, my only recommendation was to consider adding an Earth-like villager like Pocahontas. Dree said after the review, I decided to add 2 villagers, and I'm glad I did. Oh, there's 2? Who else do we have? Who else do we have? Oh, Tinkerbell. I didn't see her there. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Good call. I mean, I think you could have got... you might have gotten the same rank even without them, but I definitely think having Pocahontas here is a nice boon.
Little late here, but wanted to thank you. Smiley face emoji.
Hey.
Back in 4K. I went with the Earth submission.
Let's go! Congratulations, Wings of a Daydream. Congratulations. Very happy to hear you're back in the 4K range. And thank you so much for the 400 bits. Greatly appreciate it. We are a mere less than 2,200 bits away from goal. Very nice, very nice. Okay. Somebody said literally yesterday, why aren't you already asking us how should I wear mourning? What are you guys talking about? Oh, you're talking about the Aurora? Guys, I can't mentally handle thinking about the Aurora again. Do we have to bring it up? Do we have to talk about that? It is a tragedy. It just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I've already gone through the 5 stages of grief. Nah, I'm not. I haven't. I'm in the denial right now, which is why I'm about to make a... That's why I'm about to make... I will cry more. I will cry more. I'm going to make a petition and I'm going to send it out to all of you guys on Saturday. And I will.
Just do it!
When I have time. I haven't even had time to give you back your hammer yet. I've literally been working since I woke up today. Working hard for you guys. No, Pitch, we're not talking about the animated movie. We are talking about the Aurora. We're talking about the Aurora Borealis in the game. It has been ruined. No longer will you be able to capture snaps like this. Or this. Where you can put the Aurora right where you want it. We have lost the ability to place the Aurora the way we want. The Aurora has been now changed into the first environmental item. And when you toggle it on, it just drops it in the middle of the biome. So you can't turn it, you can't move it, you can't do anything with it. It just exists in the sky. And the meta with the Aurora, what made the Aurora potentially the best Dreamsnap item we've ever had, is the fact that you could locate it way in the back behind your build and get it low enough in the sky to where that beautiful Aurora band would go across your submission. That does not work now. We get absolutely no say in how the Aurora appears. I'm going to cry. No, I'm actually choking on my own spit. We get no say in how the Aurora appears in our sky. We can't rotate it. We can't move it. We can't change its angle. It is permanently fixed. So, and I'm not even kidding. I'm literally going to make a petition because I think Gameloft meant well with this change. I think they didn't. I don't think a lot of the devs really do Dream Snaps as much as the player base does. It's kind of like if you're constantly working on a game and coding a game, you probably don't want to go home and play that same game you've been working on all day. So I would wager that a vast majority of the devs, they don't really use these items day to day like the players do. They have dev accounts that just have everything unlocked automatically. So I think they meant well by making the Aurora an environmental feature. But it's very unfortunate because it's an item we already bought and paid for. It's an item that we spent moonstones on ages ago, and everyone has been really happy with the item. So I would like to see it return to what it was before. That's just, and when I talked about this yesterday, we had like 600 people in the stream due to the Twitch drops, and hundreds of people at once were like, saying they were not happy with it. So I think that's why I want to make a petition, just because I don't think it was malicious of Gameloft. I don't think they were like, hey, we got you. I think they're not aware of how good the Aurora was the way it was before. And also, I don't think they're aware of how much Dreamsnap enthusiasts appreciated the Aurora as as something that we can determine its placement. So that's why I want to make a petition and get a lot of signatures, and then I'm just going to send it off to Gameloft and say, hey, look at all these people that want the Aurora back, So yeah, if you want to join our Discord, if you want to sign that, because I'm going to post it in there probably this weekend. Bob's, very nice. Bob's ended up getting 4K here. Can't remember the rank, but in the 1800s. Very nice, very nice. Well done. Jamie White said, I think I came across yours and voted for it. Here's mine. Oh, that's cool. Oh, this is really pretty. Jamie didn't tell me the rank, but I could definitely see this getting 4K. Mama Dukes here got 4K. Rank in the 3000s. I could see this ranking a lot higher, too. It just depends on what kind of voters you get. Some voters really like depth of field. So for some voters, they might prefer a snap that you can see further back in. But I mean, this is one of my favorite fire snaps. Lauren here, rank 805. Very nice. I like this one a lot, too, because the flowers in the foreground were really nice. The outfit is super cute. Beautiful shot. Oh, nice. Breezy ended up getting 4K for her ice element. And this was tricky. You know, we've had a lot. There weren't... I think I might have seen more wind submissions than I saw ice. And I think the big thing is that we've had a lot of previous Dreamsnap challenges where, you know, we've done icy themes before, so this is something we've seen. But this is the first time we've really seen them with, like, the smoke bombs and stuff, too, so it's really pretty. Also, it was a great outfit. I saw some ice snaps, and I'm like, man, you know, there's some really beautiful outfits you can wear. And one thing I praised when Breezy submitted this for review was the look of the avatar here. And the great, you know, featuring of villagers here. So very happy to see this ended up getting 4K. I feel like that's tougher with the ice theme this particular week, so well done. Wishing Stardust here. On this try shot, Wishing Stardust did end up getting 4K. Ranked 6,523. So I think for Wishing Stardust, I think this might have been your first, like, try split. And I remember we did give you some advice on this, like how to clean the edges. The one risk with the split scenes and the try scenes this week, I think, was that, like I mentioned, when we were doing the reviews, I think a lot of the scenes that were going to steal the show were going to be scenes where the entire scene is focused on that particular element. And that's kind of what we did see. So I think it was a tough week for try shots and split shots. So the fact that you still got 4K with this is a testament to how good it is. So very well done here, Wishing Stardust. I'm glad it worked out for you. The main thing we advised you on was, like, really making sure it feels like the environments have shifted on each side, and you did that well by, like, layering this side with the moss and the bubbles. So on a week where I think it was a bit more challenging to do split scenes, you ended up getting 4K with one. So that's a testament to how well you did here. Good job, good job. Cynthia here with a split scene that also did well. I love the back-to-back here with Elsa and the Avatar. This red dress is just one of the prettiest in the game. 4K for this. Kirsty here. This reminds me a lot of mine. We also got very close to the same rank here. Kirsty with rank 576. One of my higher ranks, so happy, really enjoyed doing this one. Yeah, you did a great job here. Character lighting is optimal. I love the blue dragonflies. The smoke bombs in the back. You know, this nice waterway utilizing the fountains, the swan boats. I actually have the swan boats in mine too. Yeah, this is, like, not too far off from how mine looks. Like, I have the swan boats here on the side. I ended up not using the smoke bombs and going with the waterfalls. I did have smoke bombs in front of them, but then there's, like, a weird glitch where the water from the waterfall showed through the smoke bombs, and it just looked odd, so I had to get rid of them. Shelly Hopkins here says 2,500 moonstones again this week. Guess it's just not on theme enough. Here, better for next week. Well, I think you captured the theme pretty well here. I would say, and 2,500 is still really good if you're watching, Shelly. If you're watching, 2,500 is great. It puts you around the top 10% of snaps, and you're also very, very close to 4K. Here's my advice, right, for a challenge like this. I think you probably popped up against other great snaps where they had gone above and beyond with the avatar presentation. You see how this avatar's look, everything about her look ties into Earth? And this is a top 1,000 rank, so it's a good one as a case study here. So, notice how she gave herself dark green hair followed by light green hair. She gave herself green skin, green eyebrows, bright green eyes, and an outfit with some great brown earthy notes. And when we look at the scene here, you have the regular skin, right? A lot of people went in the direction of turning their avatar into like a woodland nymph. And we actually talked about this a lot on the review streams and about how competitive it was. You have the same headpiece, but you have pink eyeshadow, pink lip, a hot pink hair with light pink highlights. You have a earthy element kind of outfit with the tinkering outfit here. But again, if we look at a lot of the highest ranking Earth submissions, we're going to see the same thing, right? We're going to see people that have really taken a deep dive into this avatar customization. For example, here, let's look at Dree in the top 10. Note the avatar. Note how everything about the avatar ties into that Earth element. She's got the lettuce wrap dress. I know it's not called that. We just like to call it that. She's got this beautiful light green eyeshadow, a dark green lip, and this dark green hair with these antlers. So she really feels like an Earth spirit, or maybe even Mother Nature. When you design a dream snap, and you can apply this to all your future snaps, this is something that's never a bad idea. Whenever you are working on a submission or a particular theme, every decision you make, you want to consider the theme when you make it. So when you're coloring the hair, how can you tie that into the Earth element? And then also don't forget about things like changing your avatar skin tone. You know, you don't have to be human. You could be Mother Nature herself, and there's some fun ways to pull it off. The other thing I would say is for this particular challenge, highlighting man-made structures like, you know, the crumbling stone walls and stuff, could sometimes be good, but most of the really high-ranking Earth submissions just featured nothing but nature. So I think that could have played in a little better here. I do like the overgrown feel, though. And my final recommendation for you, Shelly, because you're already very close to 4K, and you said 2,500 again this week, and you said, I guess it's not on theme enough. Well, it is on theme enough if you popped up against the right stuff you could have gotten 4K. But what you have to remember is that Dreamsnaps is very competitive in this range. You should be very proud of getting 2,500. And any of these weeks where you did get 2,500, you could have gotten 4,000 if you popped up against the right things. But that's the thing. Once you get close to 4,000, there's a lot of really good snaps out there. And they are not, you know, they're not only doing the theme, they're taking it even further. They're incorporating the theme into every decision they make. Now, you've already done really good with that in a few aspects. Like your outfit here, the costume you have on, the headpiece, the villager you chose, a lot of the decor you have. You are doing very well with the theme, but there are some snaps out there that just took it to a whole nother level. And my last word of advice for you here is I would show less sky if you can in your future snaps. Here's something very interesting about dream snaps in general. It takes a lot more time to make a scene like this because you have a very big area to decorate. You have a lot more to pave. You have a lot more decor to drop. This usually takes more time and doesn't perform as good. So, again, it's not about time when it comes to Dream Snap. It's about thought, right? You put good thought into yours, by the way. But look at this, right? Notice how close the background is. So something like this is going to be far easier for you to fill out and decorate, but it's going to be more impactful. Notice how in your snap, about the top 20 to 30% of the photo was sky. But notice how in this snap, the tree line is so close, the waterfalls are so close, these summer arches are so close that we don't see the sky. And it also kind of applies to that same meta we always talk about having the camera close to the avatar. When you have the camera close to the avatar, it makes it very easy for voters to appreciate your look. That applies to your decor and your setting as well. You have to keep in mind that a lot of people are voting on a Nintendo Switch or a Steam Deck, a small screen, even an Apple Arcade. And if you're voting on these small screens, it's a lot more difficult to see the details of an environment if that environment has a lot of depth of field. So You have a lot of things back here, like Miko's house. I can see it kind of tucked away back here, but it's so far away, it's not very impactful. So what I would recommend doing in the future, Shelly, is you're doing a great job getting the camera close to the avatar. You're the perfect distance away where you have just a little bit of space between the top of the head and the top of the frame. But building with this much depth of field is going to cost you, it's going to take you way more time and typically doesn't perform as strongly as shots where there's less depth of field. You'll notice in most of these 4K snaps, look at how close the background is, right? In a lot of these, like in mine, you see how the waterfalls are just a few feet away, and that's the backdrop there. You know, we look at Lauren's, we see the background is just a few feet away. You don't necessarily have to have the background this close. For this Marvels of Nature submission, this one got rank 92 or something. I can't really remember. It was in the 90s. But you see how my tree line is close enough to fill most of the sky? And by having this background so close, it's a lot easier to appreciate the beauty in things like this blossom tree and this silhouetted canopy back here. And also things like Pocahontas' house. Whereas there were a lot of snaps in Marvels of Nature where people decorated a whole floating island and they put their trees like way at the back, and they spent pretty much 2 days decorating this entire floating island, and then they get 1,500 moonstones. Whereas if they would have just isolated themselves in a much smaller pocket and really worked to define and detail that smaller area, it's going to be a lot easier for voters to appreciate that. When people vote, they're not choosing which snap to vote on based on how much time it looked like the photo has taken the builder. They are simply choosing based on theme, execution, and beauty. And when it comes to beauty, I know that's subjective, but when I say beauty, what I mean is strong lighting, good colorations, good poses. You know, things that look flattering on the avatar, look flattering on the villagers, and in particular, lighting is the most important beauty element. Even for night shots. Even for night shots. Great example here as well. Anika got rank 82, right? Look at how close that backdrop is. Look at how close the Pinecone house is. This is going to take far less time than a build where, you know, you have all of this space you're decorating. And I think that's one thing that leaves people feeling a little bit defeated with snaps, is a lot of times when people spend many hours building these massive scenes, they expect 4K. They say, well, I got to get 4K this week. I put 10 hours of work into that photo. It's got to get 4K. But guys, I can't stress this enough. It's not about how much time you put in. It's never about that. It's all about the theme, the beauty, and the execution. So it takes a lot more thought than it does time. I have many dream snaps that I did in 25 minutes that got 4K. Some of them are even in the top 20. You know, imagine spending 25 minutes on a snap and it gets rank 15. You know, it's funny how that works. But by playing your avatar very close to the frame, and not only your avatar, but also your setting, your backdrop, especially in a challenge like this. Now, in this one, I'm showing a good bit of the sky, but that's because I want the stars to appear as bubbles. It kind of depends on what you're going for here. But when it comes to the Earth theme, that's why we see snaps with the tree line closer performing so well. We're not seeing sky elements. The entire photo is pretty much comprised of Earth elements. Even the waterfalls are coming from the Earth here. So just something to consider, you know, because since you are getting 2500, Shelly, you are on the cusp of 4K. You are incredibly close, and you clearly understand the importance of being close to the avatar, You clearly understand the importance of avatar customization, though I think some different decisions this week could have benefited you more. And you're really good at design. You know, the fact that you have all of this diversity in your tree line, you have all these beautiful plants throughout the build. The only thing I think is that it's really important to consider the voter as well. So you want to have fun building what you want to build, but you also want to try to appease the voter. And you want the elements of your photo and the beauty factor of your photo to be very easy to see. So what I would recommend here is whenever you're building a snap, look at it on a small screen, right? Like, don't just look at it on your big monitor or your TV. Minimize it and see if everything stands out well. All right, let's keep going here. But yeah, I truly think, you know, I think if you consider some of these angles, Shelly, I think you could find yourself very consistently in 4K in your future submissions. Samarantha, 2,500. I'm happy with that. Did not have much time for this one. Oh, this is so pretty. This is so pretty. This is really fun. Super unique, super unique. It's a great air snap. You're using a lot of the items we talked about for an air snap or wind snap. I like the cloud here. I think potentially you do have the big swirling tornadoes, but they're kind of hidden. Like, I see them back here. I think maybe having them towards the side or foreground could have been really good for you here. But like you said, you didn't have much time. And the fact that you got 2,500 here is really nice for this. If we look at Kira's wind snap, because we worked with her quite a bit on her wind snap, and she ended up coming up with something really nice, and it did get 4K. Notice how the foreground is very full, right? This tornado comes all the way down to the bottom left of the frame, and then this tornado touches the bottom of the frame. So, like, pretty much the whole picture is, like, very, very full with that wind element. Yours is super fun. I think it could have gotten 4K against the right things. But I think potentially having some wind elements breach the bottom side here as well could have been nice for you. But yeah, well done, well done. That's still top 10% of snaps. I think you did good there. Heather said highest rank so far, 652. Let's go. Well done, Heather. Another ice snap. Very nice, very nice. This is the only circumstance in which I do recommend the white winter trees, by the way, is if you're doing winter or ice. That is the only circumstance. I mean, maybe there's always exceptions. There's always exceptions. I'm sure there's other points where you can use them. But you'll see I use them too. You know, I know earlier we were looking at a snap that got 1,500. And I was like, I would not have used those white trees. And I know I also mentioned that you hear me say don't use those trees all the time. But I just want to clarify, guys, that does not apply to winter themes, because this is a winter tree. This, like, whitish blue tree, it is a winter tree. It works really good for these kinds of environments. I always mix mine heavily with the blue trees just to get some more color in there. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that while we're on that subject. Krista got 4K with this. Beautiful, beautiful. Very fun. Lisa here ranked 4134 with this. Very nice. Jennifer here got ranked 4,128. Says feels good to be back on a streak. Very nice. I'm glad this did well. It's so tricky to get a great rank, oftentimes further away from the avatar like this. But the wow factor of how you designed your lava is so good. Like, this is really, really nice. The way you've layered the pixie dust on the edge so it looks like it's actively melting stone. Like, right here, right here. That looks so good. And then you layered all these smoke bombs in the back to really seal off the snap. I'm usually not a big fan of snaps that are further away from the avatar, and neither are most of the voters. But this shows, again, there are exceptions to all the different metas if you can make something impactful enough. And again, this also shows snap results are going to be more tied to thought than they are tied to time. This doesn't have a million different types of items in it, right? But it is very well thought out. It is very cleverly crafted. The way they've combined the pixie dust with the fall leaf rugs and the smoke bombs is just perfect for this fire theme. It is absolutely perfect. This is really cool, really fun. I didn't review this one, but I love this. I love your snap. That's so cool. Oh, good. Your avatar snap did get 4K. I'm so happy. I'm so happy this did well. When I was doing the reviews, I was beyond excited to see this. And I'll be honest, it's always kind of a risk doing a cosplay outside of the Disneyverse that people might not know. But who doesn't know Avatar Aang? Who doesn't know Aang? Come on, everybody's got to know Aang. I'm sure there's some. But Jen here did the avatar. And they highlighted all the... They even have the tattoo activating with the blue. Like, we don't have the arrow tattoo, but the way they were able to incorporate that is super clever. And then they have all the different element bending. Like, we have the air bending behind us. We have fire bending to the left. Earth bending at the front with these big rocks coming out of the ground. And then water bending over here with the water. And they're holding a staff, but they're hiding the top of it. They're hiding the hourglass because they want it to look like, you know, Aang's little flying stick. So cool. So cool. All you need is a sky bison, and then I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between Dreamlight Valley and Avatar. I'm so glad this did well. Ranked 2,861. Very nice, very nice. I'm looking for... One of you guys said you ended up getting 1,500. Courtney ranked 528 with this. Very nice, very nice. I could definitely see this ranking even higher if you popped up against... You know, there's a lot of tough snaps out there, but there's also a lot of mediocre snaps out there. So, even good submissions, really good submissions, will sometimes not get 4K. They just popped up against really good snaps. And mediocre submissions can be in the top 100. It just depends on what you pop up against. That's why when it comes to understanding what performs well, you can't just look at your snap. You can't just look at the top 3. You gotta look at a bigger data sample. You have to. So if you want to know what does well on average, you need to make the average. You need to look at a lot of snaps and see what's really occupying 4K in mass. Because if you search long enough, you'll find some very empty, very basic snaps in the 4K range. And there's a lot of random selfies out there. There's a lot of random quest photos out there. If a snap consistently pops up against stuff like that, it can and will find itself in the 4K range. Which is also why I tell people, you know, anybody can get 4K by just doing the theme if they're lucky. The advice that we give here is about how to get it consistently, week after week after week after week. But you'll see all kinds of snaps in the 4K range, and you'll see good snaps that don't get 4K. Samantha here says, heartbroken because I love the snap so much. I still do. Broke my little streak to 1,500 moonstones. Well, it is very pretty, like the fishing scene. You know, that is very fun, very fun. But I think with how stiff the competition was this week, most of what we see that performed really well, the entire photo was about that particular element, or it was like a split scene with, you know, each side completely dedicated to an element. In your snap, it's clear that you're in your element with water. But the challenge also said to capture the magic of the elements. So that's why you'll see photos like this, right, I think like a lot of the other ones we've come across, like this, you'll see snaps where the entire picture was dedicated to that element, or it was split up into, you know, a split scene dedicated to those elements. This is really pretty. Your lighting is really good. It you know, it's clear that you're in your element, but you also have a ton of earth, right? We have a lot of greenery. And as mentioned earlier, when we were reviewing another snap that got 1,500, or actually got 2,500, another pretty good snap, right? The avatar customization was a big factor this week. You'll see a lot of the snaps that did really well kind of played up their character or their avatar to be almost like an elemental, you know, like a wood nymph or a water nymph. Like this one got rank 576. And as you can see, you know, they have blue skin. They have the white swirls in their hair that look like waves. They have this ocean dress. And then if we look at, you know, Mama Duke's here, you can see we have very much like a fire elemental here. Here's another 4K snap, and as you can see here, the avatar is very well styled as a water elemental. If you've been doing Dream Snaps for a long time, you probably remember the days where we had outfit challenges, and we had decor challenges. We don't have separate themes for that anymore. We don't necessarily do one or the other anymore. So every challenge now is kind of an opportunity for both. So when you read the challenge, when you break down the challenge, always think about how you can embody that element or embody that theme with your avatar as well. Kind of like for this week, how, you know, we're doing a summer street festival. So I want to embody that not just with my environment, but with my avatar. So we have on a very summer-centric outfit, right? With the palm leaf skirt, with this white frilly top, with the exposed shoulders and the open arms. And then we have on this wood bead necklace, which feels very oceany. And then to play up the festive vibes, we have on this festive face paint. That kind of helps us feel more like we're at a festival. So I wanted the outfit to also embody a summer street festival. Think about that with every challenge, you know. Sometimes it's tougher with like what kind of challenge it may be. But you know, for explosions of color, you don't only want your environment to explode with color, you want the same for your hair, your avatar. So like face paint and stuff like that could be really good here. And this one ended up getting rank 70, which was nice. Then for like Desert Haven, you know, we did a Jasmine cosplay. Because it ties in well with that Desert Haven kind of concept. For Vibrant Jungle Fiesta, it wanted us to embrace Latin American vibes with this challenge. So we gave ourselves darker hair to kind of match with Mirabelle's hair color here. And then we used outfit options that had that Latin American flair as well. And also that made the outfit vibrant, since it was Vibrant Jungle Fiesta. What I'm getting at here is I think your Dream Snap turned out beautifully. I really like the concept of being in your element with fishing, especially if you love fishing. I also love to fish. It's just so relaxing. I actually bought a temporary fishing license when I took my vacation to Florida 2 weeks ago, just to fish for like 3 hours. I bought a license literally just for that. When I lived in North Carolina, I always did the yearly license because I would fish very often. But yeah, as somebody that loves fishing, you know, I can see why you would go in this direction. But the tricky thing there is I think a lot of voters are going to be super impressed by the over-the-top kind of avatar customization, and then also making sure your entire scene is entirely focused on that particular element. So your element appears to be water here, but water really only occupies maybe 15% of this photo. I think that's the tricky thing. But it's a beautiful snap. It's a beautiful snap. Had it popped up against the right things, it could have done much better. There were just some really, really good competitive snaps out there. And by the way, some weeks you're going to get an idea and you're going to want to do it. You know, you don't have to always worry about what the voters are going to want more. On those weeks where you're like, you know, I know there's things I can do that are more competitive. I know there's choices I can make that could be a lot stronger, but I just really want to do this. I say go for it. Just go for it, understanding that it might not get 4K, but at the end of the day, Dreamsnap should be fun. And as long as you have a great time making your snap and you love what you made, you're not going to sweat the moonstones or the rank quite as much because you had a great time. For Meredith's here, you got 1,500 moonstones. So a lot of things you did really well. The avatar customization is really nice. And you included some good fire villagers as well. But one thing we talk about quite a bit here as well, Meredith, is what's our motto when it comes to your layering, right? Your foreground, your midground, your background. Small items in the front. Medium items towards the middle, and large items towards the back. We mention that every week during reviews. And unfortunately, I know when I reviewed this, we talked about some things you could do better. Since we have to review hundreds of snaps every week, I'm not going to have time to highlight every single thing a snap can potentially do better. You ended up doing a great job with the avatar. And the scene has a good fire feel, which is why you're still in the top 20% of snaps. But my big advice in the future is don't only consider the advice you're receiving, also consider the advice we're giving others, because we talk about foreground a lot. Notice how in this picture here, the items in my foreground are very small. We can easily see over them. In your photo, these two big magma rocks come up right at the front. And these two items alone are taking up about 25% of your entire photo. That's pretty risky. That's why we want small items in the front. This is a mid-ground item. This would be really good several feet behind you because now we're going to be able to do something fun with the foreground and play up more fun colors and more fun items. And you'll see that in almost all of these high-ranking photos. Here's a great example. This player also did fire just like you. And this ranked right around the top 500. Look at the foreground. Look how easy it is to see over these items, right? Small items in the front. So we have small flower, we have a red bush, we have some red gemstones, we have candles. We can see over all of this stuff. And then as we move our way back, we get taller items like this medium height torch, this medium height crystal, the pyro box. And then when we get to the very back of the scene, that's where our tallest items reside. Trees, houses, buildings, stuff like that. This is kind of a rule of thumb in pretty much all of my snaps because it greatly increases visibility into your scene. So you'll see at the bottom of this snap, you know, we have a variety of tropical flowers. We have this little bush here. And then on the left-hand side, we have our chalice for our fabled relic. And then villagers. And as we move further back, we get taller things like this big spider web, this big statue, these big vines. If I took this big old vine and put it right in the foreground, it would completely cover Donald. It would completely cover Scar's face here. Like it comes up so high. But if you put it further back, it's not going to be as obstructive. And then way in the back of our scene, that's where we're going to have like these walls. And even behind that, we have even taller items. Think of it like steps. When you're building your snap, think of your decor like stairs. So it goes lowest level first, then up a level, and you can layer things that way to where your decor is clearly visible. But that's the biggest advice I have for yours, Meredith, because you did some things really well here. Like, for example, you know, the way you styled the avatar, I think is great. You have a great companion, and you even have great villagers. But with your villagers so close and your avatar so close and these very large magma rocks right at the front, we don't really get to see into your scene very well. And here we have another great example. T-Dow here got rank 101. Well done, T-Dow, well done. T-Dow said, my highest rank yet. I cannot believe it. Believe it, my friend, believe it. You should be proud. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of work. And it's easy to see why you got such a good rank. You did a fantastic job here. The avatar customization is very, very on point for the Earth element. You have a great outfit for an Earth elemental. You've even gone as far to give yourself dark green hair and green skin. You have a bird living in your head. You know, I mean, you feel like Mother Nature in a way. It's really fun. And look at the foreground. We can see right over these bushes. And then we have slightly taller plants behind that. And then behind that, we have a tall villager with Pocahontas. Another tall item here. And our largest items way at the back. But none of the things in the foreground are so tall that we can't see the beauty of the photo itself. We can see into this scene very well. And you'd have some great details like the fireflies and the green smoke bombs. So, not surprised. Oh, I love the little hedgehog house here too. The little mushroom. That's so fun. Not surprised you did so well here, T-Dow. Congratulations on the fantastic rank. Jennifer. Rank 2103. 11 weeks of 4K. Long may this streak continue. Love this community and this game, says Jennifer. Well, my friend, I am not surprised. And you know what? You keep doing stuff like this. You keep making your snaps this well. And yeah, your streak will continue. The entire scene is very focused on the element here. You know, we have these beautiful water jets right behind you. You have this nice pool of water here. We have these luminescent tropical trees, beautiful aurora, really good beauty factors. A really good pose for the avatar, really good angle on the avatar. You got the camera close to her. You styled the hair very well. So you did a lot of things very, very well here. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Big 200 bits here from Jennifer. We are now less than 2,000 bits away. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much. Big goal number 220 today. If you guys enjoy the Snaps content, if you get good value out of the streams, consider supporting the content. We are very close to today's goal, and we have hit our last 219 goals in a row on this channel. So thank you very much for that, you guys. Thank you very, very much. All right, Mandy here, rank 2540. Oh, this is beautiful. I love the lighting here. Great framing on the avatar. Great customization. Very nice, very nice. Diana, top 1000 here. Not surprised. I really like this one.
Senpai. Notice me.
Hey, let's go. Dekai with the big 400. Tranquil with the big... Oh my God, that's a golden Kappa train. No way, bro. I haven't seen one of those in a while. Queen Becca says, hi, I am new to your channel. Welcome, Queen Becca. Welcome. Great to have you. Welcome in, welcome in. I don't know if you can tell, Queen Becca, but... So, a lot of people out there may consider me to be a Dreamlight Valley content creator, but that's actually not true. I'm a Dreamsnap creator. Like, that's the main thing I cover here. So if you like Dreamsnaps, if you like learning about Dreamsnaps, if you like participating in Dreamsnaps, you're gonna fit in very well here. Pretty much me and my entire community are obsessed with these things. I've done every Dreamsnap challenge there's ever been. And in the past 2 years, in the past 2 years, I had one snap not get 4K, and I know why. Got 2,500. I took a little bit of a risk. There was something I really wanted to do, and I did it. And then, I've also been in the top 3 a couple times. But all that said, I don't claim to be the best. You know, I'm not the king of Dreamsnaps. I'm not I'm not psychic. You know, you might think I am based on usually knowing exactly what's going to end up perform well, but the only reason I'm able to give good advice is because I spend a lot of time researching what voters like. Just like right now, we're looking at results. We're looking at what's performing well. We do this every week, and we've done this every week for a long time. Thank you guys for the golden Kappa train. That's very exciting. Oh my god, bro. You guys just knocked out today's goal. Much appreciated, much appreciated. Dakai with a big 4 hundo. Tranquil with a big 5 hundo. Ronald, thank you for the hundo. Eyes of Sorrow, thank you. Chewy, thank you. Tazzy, thank you. Sunshine, thank you. Scuttle, thank you for the hundo as well. Black Knight, Ghost Girl, Fallen Angel, Creeping. Ashes, do you have a YouTube? Get out of here. Eyes of Sorrow for the hundo. Ronald for the 45. Tazzy with the hundo. Thank you so much. So, Rob said, do you have tubes? Bro. Oh my god, bro. What are you doing? Dang, thank you, Sola. Thank you for the big 500. No, much appreciated. Much appreciated.
Notice me, senpai.
Wow,
Notice
thank
me.
you, guys. Thank you. Very nice, very nice. By the way, guys, if you've never seen a golden Kappa train before, this is different. These are pretty rare. I don't see these very often. You get different types. So, in this one, you can unlock an emote normally as well, but everyone that participates will get a special emote that lasts 24 hours, but it will go away. It will go away. So, we don't get to keep it. So, it's weird, it's weird. During a golden Kappa train, you get a golden Kappa emote that only lasts 24 hours. And you guys have already hit the level 1, so we'll all get it. We'll all get it for 24 hours. Or at least anybody that I think sent 100 bits or a gifted sub. I think you also can unlock regular emotes as well for like the level 4, level 5 hype trains and stuff, but don't worry about that, you guys. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Eyes of Sorrow, thank you for the hundo. So for Diana's here. Beautiful work, beautiful work. Not surprised this was in the top 1,000. We have a very, very good feature of the hedgehog here. Look at how cute he is jumping up. And this also embodies exactly what we were talking about with the avatar customization. You know, as we mentioned when we were doing these reviews, it's so funny, dude. It's so funny. We said during Lazy Cozy Day, we were pretty much telling everybody, hey, the poses where people are like sitting and being really lazy, the poses where the avatar is completely stationary, like whether they're sitting on a chair, sitting on the ground, or laying on a pillow, those are going to steal the show. Sure enough, that's exactly what they did. Exactly what they did. And we were also saying for this week's challenge, the people that go above and beyond with avatar customization and really embody their elements are going to perform very strongly this week. And here, you know, we've seen it so many times today. So, again, it's not really about me knowing the future, but you guys also know, if you're somebody that's done Dreamsnaps for a while, if you're somebody that, you know, really takes a deep dive into what's in 4K every week, these kind of things will not surprise you. And in fact, you'll be able to predict them. You'll get to a point where you really kind of have your finger on the pulse of the average voter within this game. Now, not every voter is the same, so that's why we're looking at the average. And if you look at the average 4K photo, you're going to see a lot of very common trends. Like the camera close to the avatar like this. You're going to see the theme embodied by the avatar. And you're usually going to have really strong lighting. Like this is the sunset lighting with the sun behind the camera. We talk about that every week. It's the best lighting in the game, consistently found in the 4K range, top 1,000 range. So yeah, really, really good job. I think this is Dakai, right? Wonderful work. Well-deserved, well-deserved. Not surprised at all. This is so cute. It's so beautiful. Heather here ended up getting 4K with this. Beautiful work. I did not submit this one. I didn't get to submit this one for review. I had about 45 minutes late Tuesday evening to whip it up. I ranked in the 2000s. Oh, well done. You didn't even... Oh, we got our hype train here. Let's go, let's go. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I hope you guys all enjoy your golden Kappa. And also, it looks like y'all also unlocked the Spill the Tea emote. Nice, guys. Nice. I already have that one. I will only get a new emote on if we beat a level 4 or a level 5, but like it doesn't matter that much, so please don't ever feel like, oh, we got to do that. You guys do like way more than enough for me, and I want you to know I really appreciate it. And we even got a golden kappa for now. Hooray. So for anybody that participates in the hype train, you'll have that golden kappa for 24 hours. It's weird. But that hype train's really rare. I mean, how many hype trains have we done in the past week? Probably like, or in the past 2 weeks, it's probably been like 20 or 30 of them. And I haven't seen a golden kappa train in probably like over a month. Wait, where is my golden kappa? I'm trying to find it. I was going to gigantify it. There it is. There it is. Doesn't that kind of look like me? I thought it was you. No. I am the golden kappa. It does kind of look like me, bro. I'm not going to lie. I always think that every time I get this thing. If you close one eye and squint the other, basically twins. That's a lot of extra work for the twins. Hey, thank you, my friend. Crystal with a big 100. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you. That is very kind of you, my friend. Very kind, very kind. Yeah, it does look kind of like me. It does kind of look like me. The golden kappa. You would think with how rare this hype train is, they would at least make it animated. You know what I mean? Golden kappa is so funny. Oh, another ice snap. Why is it so tiny? Is this a dream snap for ants? Soko! Soko, why did you post such a tiny picture for me? Great job, Soko. Great job. Glad you were able to get 4K here. And you're on a 4-week streak now. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. So Soko said, I got 4K, rank 5,867. I am now on a 4-week streak after your tips helped me get my first one. So thank you very much for your advice. Dang, no way, dude. Listen to this testimony, guys. I want you to think about this, okay? If you're ever thinking maybe I should participate in the snap reviews, or maybe you're like, this senpai guy doesn't know what he's talking about. There's no way he can help people get 4K. Soko found my community. They got their first snap review, and they got their first 4K. And now, for the past 4 weeks in a row, since they got their first 4K, they've gotten 4K every single week. I'm telling you guys, it is totally possible to get 4K very consistently if you know what the voters go for. It's not even about knowing how to be better than other snaps, because that's subjective, right? Good snaps, like really, really beautiful photos, in my opinion, miss out on 4K all the time. All the time. Like really well-made, well-crafted, great photos end up getting 1,500, 1,200, even 900 moonstones. Mostly because those players aren't really aware of what's popular, like what the voters gravitate towards, and why. The why is a big thing too. Like people voting on small screens, which makes smaller details or shots with a ton of depth of field or with the avatar further away a lot more difficult to perform well with. But there's a lot of factors, and we talk about them every week. So if you want to open your wallet less and open your mailbox more, drop a follow here, you guys. I really love snaps, and my absolute favorite thing to do as a content creator is to help as many people as possible win as many moonstones as possible. I share all of my secrets. I don't gatekeep anything. Every single idea I have, I share it. I don't care too much about being unique or keeping my little tips and secrets to myself. I care more about your results than I do about my own. And when it comes down to it, it's super rewarding, right? I really enjoy seeing results. I really enjoy hearing stories like what Soko shared, makes it all very much worth it. Carla here, ranked 92. Congratulations. Also, Meredith, if you're here, remember how I talked about these big rocks you had in your foreground? This is a really good example. I hope you are here so we can kind of talk about it again. But you got 1,500 here for yours. Again, you had a great avatar. You have good lighting. You're doing some things very well. But you see these very large rocks kind of cluttering your photo right at the front. This is what I meant about having them in your midground. Now, this photo is in the top 100. But look at where these larger boulders are. They're exactly where I was recommending, for you to put them in the future. Or any item that size. So notice how in the foreground we have the smallest items. In the foreground we have these small magma rocks. And then the rocks slowly get bigger as we go back. And then in the backdrop, that's where we have our tallest things like the trees. Oh, good job, Plum Bob. I'm so glad this one ended up getting 4K. I really like this one. I figured it would. It's really good storytelling. Beautiful shot, beautiful shot. Very well crafted. And yeah, voters do love storytelling. I loved this one in particular because the way Elsa was eyeing the raven, it's so cute. And you even got like the magic in her hand. This is so cool. So cool. Great job. Kimberly said, tried hard to summon the energy to make adjustments or just start entirely and just couldn't manage. So soon after surgery and was stressed. Worked out the day, though, thankfully. Ranked 4K. Well, it was already a really strong snap, Kimberly. What you have to remember is whenever we do give you advice, it's just ways, if you already have what's likely for 4K, which you do, the advice are just, ways to make it even more competitive. So there's things you can do to make even a really good snap more competitive, unless there's just not. There's some snaps I see where I'm like, yep, there's literally nothing I could think of that could be strong here. Like in yours, some, like what we saw with other magma builds, things like pixie dust or some of the magma rocks can be really good. Like if we look at this snap, you'll see some of those items we talked about. This is a top 100. You'll see that they're featuring those magma rocks we discuss very often. So, we'll recommend those for this too, but what's important is that you shouldn't stress about the changes if you already have a strong snap. Now, if you ever hear, when I do your review, if I tell you this doesn't have the best shot at 4K, that's when I would worry. But if my advice is like, yeah, there's some things you could do to make this even more competitive, you could just not do those things and still very likely get 4K because most of the snaps out there are not very strong. As long as you're doing the theme, and as long as you have good lighting, good beauty factor, as long as you have good avatar presence, customization, which you do have all that, you don't really have to stress it. Now, if you're able to make changes and make your snap even more competitive, you could likely win even more matchups. So if you're at rank 1400, well, if you were able to make the snap more competitive, you could find yourself in the top 100. That's what we mean by making it more competitive. But you don't need to maximize competitiveness just to get into 4K. Getting into 4K is not that challenging when you understand what's popular with voters. Now, sure, even good photos sometimes will not get 4K if they pop up against really good ones. So sometimes, even though it's not that challenging to get 4K, sometimes even the best of players can miss out on 4K if they pop up against some of, the best Dream Snaps out there. You never know. You never know. A top 500 here. I think it's the first top 500 I've seen for a win snap. Really well done, Amanda. Really well done. I was really nervous to submit this because it wasn't the most popular element. You even mentioned in your review, it might be risky, but I decided to risk it for the biscuit. High risk, high reward, my friend. High risk, high reward. And yeah, when we talked about that, I did state it might be risky. We don't, when it comes down to it, that depends on what kind of voters you get. So for this particular challenge, the tricky thing is almost everything could come with an element of risk because some people may really like water snaps the most. Some people may really like earth snaps the most. Some people may really like wind snaps, or they just go for something different. We have no control over what kind of voters we get. So just about everything had an element of risk to it. But also sometimes it's a high risk, high reward scenario where if you do something a little outside of the norm, you could get people that like the norm more, or you can get people that appreciate seeing something different pop up. So work out really well there. Very nice. Another tri-split here, and this got ranked 199. Very good, very good. It looks like LOTR's tri-split technique is gaining a lot of popularity. Ranked 3060 here. Very nice. Mama Trav here, 4K Moonstones, rank 8,661, which isn't as high as recent weeks, so I'm a little confused. Okay, I can help you out there. First off, you still got 4K, so you should be very happy about that. But I can definitely see why this wouldn't be on the high end of 4K when you understand what voters gravitate towards. So there's a few things with this particular theme that stole the show. We've talked about this a lot today. So, Trav, let's take a look at... Well, I mean, we can look at mine here, right? When it comes to snaps that really stole the show this week, snaps that performed really well, like this one is ranked 92. And look at the heavy makeup on the avatar. Look at how they styled the avatar like an elemental. And then if we go all the way back up to like DreeGG, who is rank 8 here, you'll see something very similar where Dree had styled her avatar like an earth elemental. Where'd it go? And this one here got rank 8. So one thing that was very popular this week was people really going above and beyond with how much they did with the avatar. So you still got 4K, which means you did a fantastic job. You're literally in the top 4.5% of all snaps. So I wouldn't be too confused, like you still did really well. You have good makeup and you have like the blue hair, but there were just a lot of other water snaps that, did like face paint for scales that, made their skin blue, came off as a glowing jellyfish, lots of fun things. The other thing here that I would say potentially impacted you to put you on the lower end of 4K would just be lighting. So the fog is really pretty, but on average, if you look at 4K results, foggy snaps are actually really, really rare, unless it's some kind of theme that really needs it, where it's like a spooky forest or, some theme with fog in the name or something. The reason fog isn't as popular, or since the reason fog is very rare in the 4K range, and that doesn't mean a foggy snap can't get rank 1, rank 2, or rank 3, you're just not going to see a lot of these snaps in the 4K range on average. So the reason for that is because every week without fail, regardless of what the challenge is, what we see the most is well-lit, vibrant snaps. Voters gravitate towards these, on average, more than anything else. So snaps where they have the sun behind the camera beaming light, or if it's a night snap, having very high character lighting, having strong highlight. Like in this one, I have my highlight set all the way up. I have saturation boosted to 0.4, and then I have my character lighting boosted. So we're really cranking up the light here because we want to compete with those beautiful daytime scenes that have lots of light and color. So this applies to night as well. Lighting is just as important, if not more important, in a night snap. So yeah, most of what you're going to see in the 4K range always follows this meta. Most of what you see, that is. Not everything. But the more we look through the 4K snaps, the more you're going to notice this trend where the colors are bold and vibrant. There's not a lot of shadow. There's a ton of light and color. And again, this applies to night as well. You're also going to see things like the avatar close to the camera frame or a villager. So, we're seeing that throughout almost all of these 4K submissions. Almost every 4K submission we see has the avatar prominently featured. And there are outliers where they just have a really, really good wow factor and they do something so well that they don't need to do the meta. It all just depends on what people put together. But again, on average, most of what we're seeing here features very prominent lighting, even the night shots, and very bold, vivid color. So I would say for yours, it's an amazing snap. I think you did a wonderful job here. It's beautiful. I think it highlights the water element very well, which is exactly why you still got 4K. But I would say the reason it's not as high as recent weeks, I wouldn't say is confusing. I would chalk it up to the fact that you probably popped up against some snaps that were very well lit and very vibrant, even if they were also night snaps, and it's going to be harder to win the vote against them when your colors are more dull. Not because this is bad, because that's subjective. This could be one person's favorite type of snap and another one's least favorite type. So it's not about individual people. It's about the average voter. And the way we know what the average voter likes is by simply looking through results. And you don't have to look through the results here on this post. You can go on to Dreamer's portal. You can go into various Discord servers. Pretty much every Dreamlight Valley streamer out there has a Discord server where people share their results. And if you look through 4K submissions, a vast majority of what you're going to see is going to have bold, vibrant colors and a very well-lit theme. And again, fog is very rare. It has a great art factor, right? Like I personally really like foggy photos. But again, they are very rare in 4K. So you should be very proud that you did a foggy photo that did manage to get 4K, because that's a bit challenging. But I wouldn't be too shocked that it didn't rank as high as you normally did, because it was a bit of a riskier design. But congratulations on pulling it off. Crystal here says I got ranked 298. Well done, Crystal. Well done. I love the enhanced light bloom here. Beautiful. And this is what I mean about, night shots. Also, you want that strong lighting in a night shot as well. Increasing the light bloom here so these blue wisps showed up really well. And the colors really got highlighted on your jellyfish ensemble. Beautiful work. Brandy Knight here. Not surprised at all. Ranked 2,749. Look at that adorable hedgehog here. Beautiful shot of the avatar. There were a lot of snaps out there, I think, that took avatar customization a bit further. And I think if you had, I bet you probably would in top 1,000 with this, because it's just so beautiful. But it definitely seems voters favored this week around. Voters really favored shots where the avatar had these high levels of customization. I think we might have talked about that on your review. Like Dakai here, rank 910, and we see it. DreeGG got rank 8, and we saw that with hers. Mine was around the top 500, same thing there. But again, you don't have to do these things to get 4K. It's just, this is what we mean when we talk about being more competitive. Like, and the cool thing here is, if you do make a snap very competitive to where it could potentially get top 100 or top 1,000, it might not if it pops up against other snaps of that caliber, but it's going to be pretty much guaranteed a spot at least in 4K. And it's funny because during my reviews, there's usually 1 or 2 dream snaps I come across where I say, this is a guaranteed 4K. There's no way it doesn't get 4K. And I've never been wrong about that. I've had a lot of people say there's no way you can know when a snap is guaranteed for 4K. Tell me that when I've been wrong. But I never say that about simply good snaps. I only say that about like the most competitive snaps I see. And usually out of the hundreds of snaps I review, it's only 1 or 2 per week that I see that I'm like, yeah, this is guaranteed. What I typically say for really, 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 really good snaps is that this is very likely for 4K, because you never know. Like, I could have missed out on 4K on this. I wouldn't say this is guaranteed. I would say this is very likely for 4K, but I wouldn't say it's guaranteed. But other snaps that I see, there's some snaps I see where I'm like, there's just no way that this doesn't, that like this will beat 99.9% of what's out there, no matter who's voting. Maybe there's like one outlier that just votes against whatever they like because they want to boost their own odds or something crazy, you know, but like most people are pretty cool. In fact, for Lazy Cozy Day, the one snap I did say this about I believe it ended up being in the top 10. Or was it top 100? I don't know. But yeah, I think this goes to show that, you know, you don't have to maximize competitiveness just to get 4K. And that's what I was trying to explain to Kimberly as well. Because Kimberly said they were kind of stressed that they couldn't, you know, apply some of the changes we discussed. But those changes were never, you know, required for 4K. Sure, they'll give you an even better shot at 4K because if you make it even more competitive, then, you know, you'll be even more likely to succeed. But this is already very likely to succeed. Lycan Witch, very cool, very cool. Got rank 505. Really, really good avatar customization. I love the light bloom here. Very good settings. Good balance. I like the tilt. Gives it a little bit of chaos. I think this is Sabailina. Right around rank 2,000 here. Well done. Oh, very nice. Robbery in progress here. Did end up getting 4K right around rank 1,000. I'm glad you chose the one with the Raven here. And you know what's fun is for this one, this was one of the snaps where I actually recommended going heavier with the avatar customization. And I think that really did pay off for you because, you know, you're right around the top 1,000 here. I think in your original snap, it was really good. I said this during your review as well. Your original snap was very likely for 4K with no changes. You could do nothing at all to it, and it would have very, very likely been in 4K. But I do think you deciding to incorporate even more customization into the avatar and turn her into a fire elemental played a big factor in you being around the top 1,000 here. Because voters did appear to really like that this week. You know, we look at Silver Tap here. This one, rank 308. Rank 308, it's a simple snap, you know. We have some beautiful trees in the back. We got a great villager presence. But look at the avatar customization. Well done, well done. Little Taters is now officially on a 4-week streak. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. Well done. Robbery the Hundo says, thanks, buddy. You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. Is the drops on for the week for the Ralph Brick Path? Yes, it's a brick bed. It's a brick bed. It's pretty cool, though. I like it a lot. Oh, nice. Miss Spock got rank 1076 with this, right around the top 1,000. I knew this one was going to do really good. I adored this snap. I just love this snap. Did you always have the water there? Or did you add that in? I don't remember seeing the water. Maybe you did. Maybe you did. Babbitt. See, you did end up getting 4K here. So happy as I was nervous after the poo in the bathtub fiasco last week. Yeah, it's still kind of a shame, Kay, that you're that your Winnie the Pooh scene did not get 4K, because I really like that indoor snap. It was so clever. It had some really good storytelling. If I had to guess, what probably happened for you is you probably popped up against some of those really beautiful outdoor snaps that also had that lazy day feel, and they might have just had you beat on beauty elements. Sometimes there are a lot of voters out there that will sometimes choose beauty over concept. And my other concern is maybe since you were reaching down to pick up Piglet, maybe people felt like you were helping them take a bath and it wasn't lazy enough. I don't know. But yeah, that Winnie the Pooh snap you did was so cute. It's really too bad. But yeah, glad this did well. Really good avatar customization. I felt pretty safe with this one being 4K, to be honest. Oh, Scuttle here. This is the one you were talking about. Scuttle got ranked 1,500. Yeah, we were looking for this one. 7-week streak broken. I still love it. Okay. So, overall, it's a solid design. You know, it's clear that your element is water. But what we can do to kind of get a feel for what happened is let's look at some of the high-performing water photos. If we look at Miss Spock's here, right around the top 1,000. Mine was right around the top 500 here. This one ended up with 4K as well. But you're going to notice with most of these high-performing water shots, they're really playing up a lot of blue. Kind of like how if we look at a lot of the top-performing Earth shots, these are all playing up a lot of Earth notes, like brown and green. Now, Scuttle, what I will say is if your snap would have popped up against different opponents, your snap is certainly capable of 4K. I think this is very capable. It just depends on what you pop up against. I think, you know, like we talked about when we were doing a lot of the reviews, it's clear what your element is. You have good avatar customization, but this is why if you want to secure your spot in 4K, my biggest recommendation is just to be very competitive, because that way, even if you pop up against really good snaps, you'll have a really good chance against them. This really excels in showing that water is your element, and it really feels like you're in your element. But compared to the water snaps we see performing very well, it quickly becomes apparent that these snaps are not doing quite as much with the green, and that the entire photo from top to bottom, pretty much everything we see ties into that water element. Even on this one where we see a bit more green, you can tell they did nighttime here, and they boosted the light bloom to play up the blues a lot more than the greens. The greens get nerfed by that. So we do have flowers and plants here, and we do have those earth elements kind of like you do, but this one highlights water a bit more. So sometimes doing the theme, even for this one that we talked about, where they have the fog, and they were confused about why it was on the lower end of 4K, and we talked about the risk of fog, they still got 4K with this. But notice how with their snap, there's not really much green or any green present. There's a lot of blue. We have like the blue silhouette here. We have the bluish green from the aurora. We have more blue light here on the side. We have the blue bushes. We have the blue coral. So again, with a very abundant amount of blue. And if we find, you know, it's kind of the same thing with the icy snaps, right? All of these icy snaps that did very well, they're all playing up blue and white, like light blue, dark blue, and white. Here's another 4K water snap, right? This one has a tiny bit of green right up here, but it's a very dark green. It's not as prominent. And it's kind of tucked behind these big blue glowing mushrooms. This is another very, you know, high-performing water snap. This one ended up getting 4K. This one was around rank 4,000. Again, a lot of blue. A lot of blue here. There actually aren't too many water submissions. Here's another one. Very close to the rank I received here. This one's rank 576. And it's, you know, it's very similar to Miss Spock's. It's more similar to Miss Spock's than it is to mine because I'm not using the smoke bombs in mine. But again, very, very heavy abundance of blue. Also, one thing you'll notice with a lot of these higher end water submissions is that since the skin is light blue, they're balancing that with a dark blue lip. That's going to look a lot better than light blue skin with a light blue lip. So, you know, check the makeup on this one. Dark blue eyeshadow, dark blue lip, dark blue hair, light blue skin. Okay? Now let's look at Miss Spock's, or you can look at mine here. Light blue skin, dark blue lip, light blue fading into dark blue for the eyeshadow, and then dark blue scales. And then we look at Miss Spock's as well. And once again, dark blue lip with the light blue skin. So with yours here, the light blue lip with the light blue, I think, brows, it doesn't balance out quite as well with the light blue skin. I think if you had gone with a darker blue, the makeup would probably look a little better here, but that's a small thing. I would say the bigger impactor here for you, Scuttle, is number one, you probably popped up against some very competitive snaps. This is good. This certainly could have received 4K. You have good lighting, your element is very clear and defined, and you did a great job with your character customization. But this is exactly why I talk about competitiveness, because you never know which week you're going to pop up against really good snaps. That's why for players like Kimberly here, even though Kimberly's snap is very good, and it's likely for 4K, there's always a chance this snap could end up popping up against snaps like DreGG that got rank 8, or some of the other snaps we see in the top 100. And if that continues to happen, having a more competitive snap will make you more capable against standing up against some of those snaps. So that's why we talk about maximizing competition each week. But yeah, your snap was certainly, you know, it certainly had 4K potential. I definitely think, you know, you had some unfortunate luck, because this would definitely beat most of what's out there. But only the top 4.5% get 4K, and some weeks you're going to pop up against some really good snaps. So yeah, if you're curious about, you know, what could have happened or what you could have done differently, I would look at some of the other very strong water snaps and very strong fire snaps. When it comes to elemental snaps, what typically performs really well is when most of the snap, like 90% of it, embodies that element's color. And the same thing kind of applies to split scenes, where one side embodies one color, one side embodies another. Most of the snaps we see around the top 500, they're all following this mantra. So, rank 505 here, notice how all the colors tie into fire. Notice how for the rank 300 here, the most prominent color in this entire shot would be the blue. And with the light bloom turned up, it overpowers every other color. And even for the wind snap here, you know, they kind of went with a whitish, goldish color for their element. And the entire snap follows that. which is why this one is in the top 500 as well, even though it's a completely different element. And like I said, you'll even see that with some of the split scenes, right? Everything on the left-hand side here follows that white, light blue, and dark blue. And everything here on the right-hand side follows that red, orange, yellow, and black that we'll expect with fire. So you don't always have to take things that far or do things to that degree, Scuttle. But if you don't, and then you pop up against snaps that do, it can be a lot harder to contend against them. At the end of the day, I'm glad you still love your snap because it's very strong. You did a lot of things really well. You have great foreground elements with the bubbles, with the plants. Your element is very clearly defined. You're playing up the meta of having the avatar close to the camera. Though just keep in mind, when you are playing the avatar close to the camera, the details of your avatar are going to be even more impactful, which is why on my avatar here, not only did we strike a really unique pose to pair with the motif, but we also put on a shell necklace and a seaweed bracelet. We're really trying to maximize how much of the element we bring into our customization here. So always think about those different angles that can help you be even more competitive. And when you see us doing reviews, like remember when we reviewed these snaps and I kept on, whenever I would talk about a water snap, I kept going back to Miss Spock's and talking about just how strong this was and how it's practically guaranteed 4K. Why was that? You know, like, why did I feel that way? Like, what made me so sure? And it did, you know, it ended up right around the top 1,000. And I was saying the same thing about Mama Dukes here. Even though I did point out with Mama Dukes that, you know, the only risk with this one is that, you know, some players do like more depth of field. But even without the depth, it got ring 3,000, you know? So the reason I felt like Miss Spock's Dream Snap and Mama Duke's Dream Snap were very, very, very likely to succeed is because everything about these snaps, every single element, not only played up the nature of their element, but also played up the color of their element. This photo screams fire. Yours, like I said, has a great water feel. You know, had it popped up against different things, it certainly could have received 4K. So it's too bad you lost a 7-week streak with a good photo. You know, that sucks. It's one thing to lose a nice long streak on a photo where you didn't put in much effort, but when you lose a nice long streak on a photo where you did such a good job, I know it's like, you know, a punch in the gut, right? You're like, dang it, you know, like I thought this was great, and it is great. You just got to keep in mind there's a lot of stiff competition out there, and some weeks you're going to be up against them. Dreamsnaps will test you sometimes. They'll put you against some strong stuff. So when we're doing the reviews, I would advise you to not only consider the angles we're talking about with your particular review, but look at the snaps that I'm heavily praising, the ones I keep pulling up as an example over and over and over, and ask yourself why. Like, what are those snaps doing so well that Senpai feels so sure they're going to perform very strongly? And that can help prevent the loss of another streak. I'm not saying you have to change your snap and copy those snaps, but perhaps if you would have done this with nighttime, with the moon mode, to get more of a deep blue and to minimize these greens, and then if you boosted highlight, you could have kept, I bet you, the same scene, this exact same scene you have here. This isn't that different from what I have. Your outfit is kind of similar. We have the same waterfalls in our background. Now, you have the palm trees, which add a lot of green, but let's say, hypothetically, you went with nighttime. You added the aurora for like a shimmering water effect. You used the nighttime moon weather option. Then you boosted highlight, you boosted saturation, and you boosted character lighting. I think that would have made your snap entirely blue. The whole thing would have became blue with a tiny bit of pink and tiny bit of yellow in there from the lily pads. I think if you had done that, this exact scene would have very likely been a shoe-in for 4K. But yeah, really good job with the build. Really good job with the build. It was beautiful. Oh, well done, Graceful Lion. Congratulations. Graceful Lion says I got ranked 21 this week. You love to see it. You love to see it. Dude, every single week, we have so many people here in the top 100. Every week. DreeGG is rank 8. You're ranked 21. I saw a rank 60 earlier. It's crazy. It's crazy because, you know, only 100 people can be in the top 100. That's it. Just 100 people. And every week, a pretty decent little chunk of the top 100 is occupied by this very community. Thank you. Also, Wings, thank you for the tier 2 resub. That is very kind of you, my friend. That is very kind of you. By the way, guys, quick little plug. Next month, I am going to be making the push. I'm going to be making the push to try my best to get back into the level 2 plus program. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about here, we're actually pretty close right now. But it's the last 2 days, so there's no way we're going to hit it. So I'm not going to worry about it this month. But next month, we're going to try. I should have been working on this already. Kind of a shame that I let it go. And because, I mean, we had like double Twitch drops. I bet you I could have done it this time around. But let me tell you why this is so important. Then we'll get back to checking out your snaps. So the plus level 2 is the highest level you can get to as a Twitch partner. It's a big deal. Essentially, right now, well, when you start on Twitch, Twitch takes 50% of your sub revenue. So for everybody that becomes a supporter, Twitch gets half and the creator gets half. So if you gift 5 subs for $30, the streamer gets $15 and Twitch gets $15. Now for me, I'm in Partner Plus level 1. So I get 60% instead of 50. So if you send 5 gifted subs for $30, math. I get 60% of that and Twitch gets 40%. But if I can get back into plus level 2, I'm going to get 70%, which means more of your support reaches me as the creator. And, you know, it's immensely helpful. We were actually already in plus level 2, but I told everybody once we hit it, they don't have to keep, you know, let me explain something. Let me explain why we're not in it anymore, and then we'll get back to what we were doing. So in order to be in plus level 2, we need 300 sub points in 1 month. But not everything counts. Because you see right here, we actually have 726 sub points. But only 220 count. Why is that? You know, like, I'm sitting here with more than double the requirement to be plus level 2. I have 726 sub points. But this says I only have 220. That's because the only things that count as sub points towards the plus program are recurring subs. So gifted subs do not count. Prime subs do not count, which is a slap in the face to the Prime sub community, but it is what it is. Thank you, Sunshine. Thank you for the resub. Oh, and the tier 3, let's go! Much appreciated. Thank you, my friend. That is a huge help. So, let me tell you guys how this works. Tier 1 subs are worth 1 point towards this 300. Tier 2 subs are worth 2 points. And Tier 3 subs are worth a whopping 6 points. Now, keep in mind, these points only apply if it's a recurring sub, so it has to be set up to automatically renew. Now, that said, you can cancel it as soon as we, you know, if we hit the plus program, I'm guaranteed to be in it for a year, and then you can always switch back to your Prime sub, you can switch back to a regular sub, you can switch back to a Tier 1, whatever you want to do. So that's what happened last year. That's what I'm getting to, is you guys helped me reach Partner Plus level 2. A lot of people left their Prime sub. They became a recurring sub. A bunch of people became a Tier 3 supporter. And then once we got Plus level 2, I was like, guys, just switch back. You know, like, I don't want you to have to pay that much to be a supporter. And pretty much everybody just went back to regular. And then a year later, they checked my metrics again, and they were like, uh-oh, you no longer have the 300 points, so we're dropping you back down to level 1. So then they started taking an additional 10% of all of my sub revenue again. So I'm going to try to get back in there. Tomorrow. 12 Souls says, I was looking into that yesterday. If someone specifically wanted to help as much as possible in the most economic way possible, it would be to purchase the Tier 3 subs. Yes, 12 Soul. Yes, absolutely. Like, mathematically, 100%. Because a Tier 1 sub is worth 1 point. The Tier 2 is worth 2 points. And the Tier 3 sub is double the price of the Tier 1, but it's 3 times the value on sub points. But again, guys, I don't want anybody to feel pressured to do this. This is more of just a public service announcement for those who are interested in helping us breach this gap. And we're going to be aiming to do it next month. So as soon as August starts, you know, anybody that is usually on a Prime sub, if you have the means, if you don't, please do not stress your pretty little head about it. If you have the means, if you want to switch off of your Prime sub just for 1 to 2 months, that would be immensely helpful, because that would be a point. And then anybody that, you know, has the potential to do a Tier 3 sub, you know, you would have to set up as recurring, but you can cancel that at any time. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You can cancel that at any time. And also, by the way, starting next week, to help reward the people that do take this leap, anybody that does decide to become a Tier 2 or a Tier 3 supporter, I'm going to be making 2 new Dreamsnap forums for our weekly Dreamsnap reviews. So what we're going to do is there's going to be a primary review forum for Tier 3 supporters, there's going to be a primary review forum for Tier 2, and then a primary review forum for Tier 1. And we're going to do them in that order. Snaps will all be reviewed in the order in which they come in, but we're going to prioritize it by tiers. It's the only way I can really give back to the people that do help me achieve this, so I hope you guys understand that. And to make sure this isn't a headache to all my Tier 1s out there, I'm actually going to be going live earlier to do the reviews. So on Mondays, I'll likely start the stream an hour earlier to do the Tier 3 and Tier 2 reviews. Just so for those of you that are on Tier 1, you're not like, great, now I gotta wait until 4 or 5 to get my review. No. I'm just gonna go live earlier, so that way you would still get it around the same time you always would. Because it's important for me to reward the people that help us get there, but also make sure this stays fair and fun and the same that you know, the same as what you guys, you know, like it to be. So that's kind of where we are. And wait, what just happened there? Sorry, I missed something. Was that Sunshines? I've been a Tier 3 all this time, says Ashley. You have, my friend. I know. You've been rocking it out for a while. I appreciate it. So yeah, we'll start working on that next month, you guys, next month. So and you can track it on the stream as well. What you're going to see is in the chat, you can toggle through, you know, top gifter and top bit sender. And there's an option here for, top clips. Nice. And then there's an option here for, help me earn points to reach plus level 2. So when we get to August 1st, that's going to go back to 0. Anytime one of you guys resubs with a Tier 1, it'll go up by 1 point. Anytime somebody resubs with a Tier 2, it'll go up by 2. And anytime somebody resubs with a Tier 3, it'll go up by 6. And if anybody wants to keep their Tier 3, it's rather expensive. So again, absolutely no pressure, 0 pressure. If you end up wanting to keep your Tier 3, I'll continue doing the priority reviews for Tier 3s even after we get the Plus program, because I would love to keep it this time. So hopefully going into next year, once they check back and they see if we still have the sub points, hopefully we'll still have what we need to keep it. So if anybody wants to stay on a recurring sub versus Prime or stay on a tier 2 or 3, that is awesome. But again, I can't stress this enough. No pressure, you guys. No pressure. I'm not going to cry if we don't get it. You know, you guys are really good to me. You guys do a lot for me. I'm not struggling to put food on my table or anything. You know, I just... the truth is, I just don't like the thought of Twitch taking 40% of my revenue. I hate that. I really hate that a company owned by Amazon worth literally billions is taking 40% every time somebody gifts a sub or becomes a supporter. It's the principle. It's the principle of the matter. So, yeah, I would love to be back in Plus Level 2. Plus, it's a huge achievement, you know? That's the highest level for Twitch partners. That would be a huge honor, and I would appreciate it. But again, no pressure, you guys. No pressure. I don't want anybody... If you're on a budget and things are tight, please don't feel like you have to do this, okay? We got a big community. I'm sure we'll have plenty of people that are willing, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of people help. So, you know, if things are tight for you at all, please don't worry yourself about it. Sydney Twitch, no way, dude. We just got another tier 3 here. Thank you, my friend. I mean, we were going to start next month, though. But thank you. I mean, I guess you can start early, you know. I guess you can start early if you want to, if you really want to. That's very kind of you, my friend. That is very kind of you. Oh, and one last thing that's kind of neat. You know how I said Twitch gets 40% of my sub revenue? By default, I actually automatically get 70% of all tier 3 subs. So if you are on a tier 3, I'm already getting 70% for that. It's gifted subs, tier 1 subs, and the rest that they take 40% of. Anyway, that's where we are. That's where we are. Cindy says, Sunshine again. Is that 3 tier 3s? Wait, was that all Sunshine? Wait a minute. Sunshine is Donna, Sunshine for stream, and Sydney Twitch. Did you just activate 3 tier 3s? You do not have to do that, my friend. You really do not have to do that. You really don't. We got a big community. I have 4 Twitch accounts. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. That is really nice of you. That's so nice. That is so nice of you. But please, you know, we got all month of August. So if we end up hitting our points, cancel one of those, okay? Because I don't want you to pay that much, because it's gonna reset to 0 August 1st, right? So on August 1st, it's gonna go back to 0, and then we'll go up 1 point each, you know, for each resub, 2 points for each tier 2, and 6 points for each tier 3. And all we gotta do is hit 300 points by August 31st. So since it's July 30th right now, and you just activated 3 tier 3s, if we end up getting the 300 points we need before the 30th, please feel free to cancel both or 2 of those. If not, then you might be what pushes over the edge. If we're short, when those resub on the 30th, that's almost 20 points right there. That's like a huge percentage of it. So, but yeah, if we, you know, Sunshine, if by August 27th, 28th, or 29th, if we already have the 300 points, please don't feel like you need to keep all those. That is really kind of you. That is super nice. That is I can't believe all 3 of those were you. I was like, wow, Sydney is new sub and it's tier 3 already. Wow. Tori said all the pressure. No, guys, no. Like I said, if we don't get it, it's not the end of the world. I actually just thought about pushing for it. Okay. How many Twitch accounts do you have? I just told you you don't have to do it right now. I just told you don't have to do it yet. This might not even be necessary. We won't know. We won't know until later. What are you trying to do? Get us there before August? You really don't have to do that. We got, you know, it's next month's goal. Oh my God, bro. That's a lot of tier 3s. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Soul said, but any normal recurring sub, 1, 2, or 3 will earn plus points. Yes, that is correct, 12 Soul. 100% correct. Personally, I think Prime subs should count. I think it's kind of unfair that they don't. I get it, though. I get it. Because I think what Twitch is worried about is that if Prime subs count, a streamer could like phone all their friends that have Amazon Prime and then have them come over and sub just to push them over the edge to get it. And they want to make sure you have a very active community to get it, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like Prime subs should count because they're not technically free. So if you're using a Prime sub, that means you're paying for Amazon Prime, and the Prime sub is a benefit of that. I think a Prime sub should be worth as much as a recurring sub, but unfortunately they do not count them. But yeah, any normal recurring sub. So gifted subs won't apply, and Prime subs won't apply, but any tier 1, 2, or 3 that is set up to automatically renew will count. And if you're curious whether it's set up, I think if you type exclamation sub, if you type exclamation sub in the chat, you'll get a link to the products page for my stream, and it'll show you, how everything is set up, where you can do the billing cycle every month, or you can do the billing cycle every 3 months. As long as you're set up on the billing cycle, I think it'll automatically, it'll automatically do the thing. It'll be counted as a recurring. Anyway, that's everything. Sorry, guys. I know that was a long plug. It's a lot to explain, but I want to be thorough and truthful about why I'm pushing for this and that we did have it in the past. And it takes a minute to explain why we're not in it anymore, and it's because of the way they count things. So, yeah, on this channel, we actually have more than double the sub points we should need. We have more than double the sub points we should need for it, but they don't count most of them. So, a little sad. Fail Corpse, thank you for the Prime, my friend. Thank you for the Prime. Welcome in. Also, whether you are on a Prime sub, a gifted sub, or recurring sub, guys, no matter what kind of sub you're on, you will get ad-free viewing, and you will get the right to participate in our weekly Dreamsnap process. Or should I say privilege? Because if you break a lot of rules, you could lose that. So it's not necessarily right. But a privilege. You get the privilege. How can I see when my current sub is up? I get them every 6 months. Does that make sense? That's a good question. I don't know if the mods can help you with that. I have always done the month by month. So I don't know. I do think there's a way. to update it or upgrade it. So if you are on one right now, like if you sub multiple months in advance, I do think there might be a way to upgrade it. Or actually, is there not? Because didn't Thea have that problem where it wouldn't let Thea upgrade, and she ended up making a different account just to help with the tier 3 thing? I think that actually happened. So if you go into subscriptions, it should say when it's recurring. Gotcha. I said, so is a tier 3 the one that says subscribe for 3 months? No. That would just be a tier 1. That is gonna basically, you would basically be buying 3 tier 1s every 3 months. Yeah, I did feed the owl. Oh, I meant to remind you guys too. Did you guys feed the owl, the special owl in the bind? Don't forget to feed him, because it's supposed to be a premium shop owl, but right now, by mistake, it's in the bind, and I'm trying to unlock him by feeding him. 12 Soul said, nah, there should be an option near the top to select the sub type, at least on desktop browser. 12 Soul, thank you for being very helpful here. Rox as well said, if you go into subscription, it should say when it's recurring. Thank you, Rox. Thank you. I fed it, and it unlocked the purple one, so maybe it's just a texture issue. Oh, no! So, wait. It unlocked the purple one. Did you not already have the purple one? The color of the owl is brown. The color of the owl is brown, but he has glasses and a little suit. He has a little suit. The owl is marked for death on their technical support board. Oh, God. It unlocked brown for me without the cosmetics. What if you already have the brown owl? But other people have been getting the premium owl? Interesting, interesting. So, some people are getting the premium owl. Senor got the scholarly. Oh, Senor did get the premium version after feeding him. Ooh, it might depend on if you've actually unlocked the other owls yet. If you haven't unlocked the other owls, it'll probably just unlock one that you don't have. Yeah, that's probably what happened, Wishing. She probably had all of them. So, I think I have all the owls. I better check. But I don't want to close my pretty picture. I'm kind of at an impasse here. You know what? There's no need for me to check right now. I'll check later. I'm going to get rid of that speech bubble as well. There we go. Yeah, I don't want to close my pretty picture. I want to keep this up. Crystal, I'm going to try now. Gotcha. Well, that kind of sucks for people that wanted the new premium owl and they ended up getting like the purple or the brown one. And also, I'm trying to see... Let me go to somebody else's Twitch page and see if I can figure out how to cycle down to a tier 3, because I support other streamers. I usually just do the tier 1 because I don't really have time to watch other streams. I'm always kind of in my own stream so much. You know what I mean? Give me 1 second. Oh, there's me. I'm at the top. I'm at the top of the Dreamlight Valley right now. Look at that. Hey, it's a little senpai. Oh, okay. So when I hit subscribe, there's an option that says elevate your subscription. And when I hit elevate your subscription, it shows me tier 2 and tier 3. So even if you're already subscribed, you might be able to do that on a browser, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, that's enough about that. I don't want to talk y'all are here for Dreamsnaps. I don't want to talk your ear. Yeah, not on mobile. Yeah, I know, Dakai. If you're on your mobile device, you can't do it in the Twitch app. You might need to, if you're on mobile, you might need to open your mobile browser and log into Twitch that way. Go here on PC, go to Probably Senpai, click the settings wheel to change tier. Oh, thank you, Samantha. Okay, well, you figured it out. So, yeah, and you might be able to do that on mobile as well, but you would have to use your mobile browser, most likely, instead of your Twitch app. You can't do it in the Twitch app, I don't think. Okay. Also said, thank you so much, Senpai. I just swung by for the drop, not gonna lie, but I'm actually kind of liking your style thus far. So maybe I shall come back and check in on your plus points again after I get paid tomorrow. You don't have to do that, my friend. You don't have to do that, but I do really appreciate it. I'm glad you like the style here, my friend. My favorite thing about the Twitch drops, honestly, is the potential to meet new people, to make new friends, and I would, whether or not you end up helping us on the plus journey, I would just love to see you again, honestly. So... You know, you can always hang out, watch a little bit longer, and really get to know me before you feel pressured into making any kind of decision like that. But I'm just glad you're thinking about coming back, honestly. That's the most exciting thing for me. So every time we do the Twitch drops, we usually get a handful of new people that stick around and join the community, and I love it. So I'm just very happy to be partnered with Gameloft. When they did the last round of Twitch drops, they actually sponsored 2 of my streams, so I got to do 2 sponsored streams for Gameloft. And it was a real honor. Ron says, join us. Samantha said, why do you need new friends? Why are me and Ashley not enough? You guys don't count. You know, you guys live in my basement, and I sometimes feed you chicken nuggets. Like, I wouldn't really consider that a friend, more like a captive. That's messed up. Oh, yeah, I never said it was fair. Okay. We're almost done looking at the snaps. I think we got like... We've looked at 100 snaps, or scrolled past 100, I should say. Here's another good one. Good avatar customization here. And again, everything very green, very brown. Only 2.5K here, though. Only 2.5K. Could, you know, very well could have gotten 4K, but this is also why I typically advise against, you know, I think their idea here was to make sure we could see through the arch, but then seal it off on the sides. But that can sometimes be a little risky because most snaps, like this got 181, most snaps that offer clear visibility into the whole frame typically outperform. But that doesn't mean snaps like this one can't get 4K. They get 4K all the time. I also think a dark green lip here with the light green skin would work well, kind of like we talked about with the water makeup. Crystal here got 1789, 4,000 moonstones. Well done, Crystal, well done. Lots of good fire color here. You got the dragons. Very fun detail on the avatar. And yeah, I honestly think this would have very likely been 4K if it weren't for the large items here on the side, limiting the visibility into the shot. It is very beautiful, though. It could have gotten 4K against the right thing, for sure. Lilo ended up getting 4K with this. I felt pretty confident this would get 4K. This was such a cool character design, and I really like the placement of the motif. We talk about motifs a lot and how risky they can be and how tricky they can be to use, but when you position a motif just the right way to where it really feels like it's part of the scene, it can be a huge boost in performance. I think it tells a great story here. Like the Queen of the Sea. Very cool. Not surprised this was in the top 500. Good job, Lilo. Good job. This got 2,500, but it's a really cool concept. Like parting the sea? That's cool. Though, you know, unfortunately, you would think concepts this cool would always do well, but that's not always the case. Oftentimes, when it comes to snaps, beauty plus theme can sometimes trump concept plus theme. Last one here. Casey Case. Got 4K. Oh, this is Clinksy. Okay. Ranked 7,822. So they did end up getting 4K here. On the lower end of 4K. But that's never something you should be ashamed of. Because you're still well past the top 5%. You're in the top 4.5%, possibly top 4% of all snaps. I would say the reason this was on the lower end of 4K is probably because it's a bit darker than many of the strong fire snaps. Most of the fire snaps that performed very well and got in the mid-range to higher range of 4K had an abundance of the fire colors throughout the entire scene, but you have enough of them to be in that 4K range, and you have a great avatar customization here as well. Well done, well done. All right. Well, with the... It's almost 7:30. There's like 6 minutes in the stream left. I was about to say, with the time that's left, let's take Q&A for the new theme. We got time. I can always stay live a little longer, depending on how many questions you guys have about this theme. But we also always do Q&A for the new challenge once we finish discussing the previous challenge. So how about it, guys? You guys got any questions about the Summer Street Festival? So also say you're very welcome. That's so flattering to hear you say. Thank you so much. Also, you actually read my message tone almost flawlessly too. You know, I'm a bit of a theater kid. I try to read things the way I perceive them. It seems you are super close already for July, so I'll just see. Cross-reference my budget, etc., but no worries about me, good sir. Well, thank you, 12 Soul. That is very kind of you, my friend. Very kind. Scarlet Shadow Valley says, I'm a huge lurker here. Love all your content, Senpai, YouTube included, and hugely into Dream Snaps. Haven't missed one since they started, and have enough points to get the VIP channel redemption, but I feel like I shouldn't, so it can go to somebody who's more active in chat. Well, you know, Scarlet, it's okay for a lurker to get it too, you know? I mean, you're here all the time. That's what matters, you know? If you're here, you know, whether you're, I mean, and you do comment, I read your comments from time to time. I see in chat. So if you do want to try to get it, I say go for it. I'm glad you reminded me, too. That's also really important, because the truth is, Scarlet, Wait. Oh my gosh. My chat bot just removed Scarlet's comments. It's because you said the forbidden L word. You're not actually in trouble. Can we get rid of the limit thing? Yeah, I need to just turn it off. It was an inside joke for a long time, but I haven't decorated my valley in a long time, so we don't need to ban the word limit anymore. It was a running joke for quite a while. I'm actually just going to turn it off right now. Because, yeah, the thing is, guys, if you say the word limit, my chatbot makes a joke and your comment gets removed. It was really funny for a while, but at this point, nobody even really says the word limit anymore unless they're talking about something else, and then their comment gets removed, and it's kind of a headache. So I'm just going to turn it off. So guess what, guys? You're going to be able to say the word limit again. I hope you're excited. Yeah, it was a running joke for a while because I would constantly be decorating my valley on stream, and I was always fighting against the limit, and people would always spam that I was getting close to the limit. And we banned several different versions of the word. Limit spelled normally, limit with a 1 spelled item limit, limited, limit with 4 spaces. It was actually kind of a joke to see how many different versions, even binary. The binary code for the word limit is banned. Like if you go to Google and you search how to say the word limit in binary, and then you copy paste that and put that in my chat, it gets removed. That's how far we took it. So a lot of different variations of the word. But yeah, we'll just turn it off, because at this point, you know, we don't even really have to worry about it anymore because we're not really decorating our valley. We'll just remove these. But yeah, if you guys ever want to, if anybody, and I'm glad you mentioned it, Scarlet, about the VIP badge, because I got so busy after we unlocked the new VIP badges, the 20 additional VIP badges. We unlocked them during the Honeyglow Woods campaign. The day of the update announcement when Twitch drops started, we had like 1,700 people in here. And I asked everybody to spam chat so we would unlock the final 20 VIP badges, and they did. And we ended up getting our last 20 VIP badges forever. But then we had the rest of the week with the Twitch drop campaigns. Then I went to Florida for a week, and then I came back, and now we have another round of Twitch drops. And I've been kind of behind ever since. So I totally forgot to do the new chat redemption. But also I need to find a new way to set it up, because we only have 20 badges, and it's our last 20. The way VIP redemption works right now is it costs 100,000 channel points, or would be working if it was on. It costs 100,000 channel points to redeem VIP, and then it has a 1-week cooldown. So only one can be redeemed a week, which means we'll have 20 weeks where somebody can redeem VIP. And I guess what I can do after they're all redeemed is I can always go through, because I'm sure some people have them that aren't around anymore, because, you know, we've had them since I started streaming on here many, many years ago. So I'm sure there's like at least like 5 or 10 we can reclaim. So maybe we can have like 30 weeks. But yeah, I gotta figure that out. I gotta figure that out at some point. I'm glad you brought it up, because I totally forgot. Let's change the word to Aurora. No, because I want to talk about Aurora. And he said, hey, it worked. Yeah, you can say it, guys. You can say the L word now with no limits. Get it? No limits, because there were limits on... Any questions about this week theme? Zombie said we're going to be insufferable about this. Yeah, it's probably going to be pretty bad again for a little while. We're probably going to hear it a lot. Max says, FYI, per the Twitch help on their website, They do not offer tier 2 or 3 on mobile. I'll subscribe for 6 months, and I can cancel it from renewing, but to change it to a higher tier, it negates what I already paid for the 6 months sub. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. If you've already subbed for like multiple months, I would still get the payout regardless, because as soon as you pay in advance for 6 months of a sub, the streamer gets the payout then and there, but you wouldn't get those subs you paid for, which would not be fair. So again, that's why, I don't want anybody to feel pressured to do it. Like, don't feel like we have a big community. I'm sure with those that can potentially switch off of a Prime sub, and those interested in picking up Sunshine picked up like 4 tier 3s today, so I feel like we'll definitely get there. We're only 52 points away, says Samantha. What, right now? Yeah. Wait, mine says we're 80 points away right now. Is it just not updated? Oh yeah, mine's probably not updated. Yeah, if we're only... I'm gonna snooze ads for a minute. Yeah, we're 52 points away now, it says. Well, I don't know. I think trying to hit 52 points just on tomorrow's stream would be a lot. So, we can always go for... We'll just like I said, August is fine. August is fine. We'll try for August. Caffeine said hi from YouTube plus Twitch. Hello, Caffeine. Hello. Welcome in. Real question is, what about the banana? See, I gotta figure that out, Barbie. I gotta figure that out. I gotta figure out when we can do the banana again. Did you consider using the new glowy thing for the floor this week? I love it. I did. So when I was building my example scene, actually, Jennifer, while I was building it, I did put it down to see how I felt about it. But the thing for me, my thoughts on it were, I really want the festival to have confetti and fireworks. And when I tested that new item, in addition to that, it just got way too busy, because now I have villagers, fireworks, balloons, koi fish, confetti, and that beautiful new item, adding all that extra element. It became too much. But I guess if you happen to, how do you say, limit some of the other effects, you could potentially pull it off. I think there will be some snaps in 4K that are utilizing that new item. I'm gonna wait for a different challenge to use it. I love the new item though. Encrypted Angel says, do you by chance have a tutorial on YouTube on how to use fireworks? I spent like 30 minutes trying to place fireworks in the right place. Mind you, the fireworks I have come from Mushu. Oh, the only fireworks you have come from Mushu. That is a little tricky, my friend. Are you also using confetti? Because the reason I'm not using the Mushu fireworks this week is because it is nearly impossible to time them well with confetti, because they only launch once and the confetti follows a different timing. So if you use confetti plus the Mushu fireworks, it's not a very good combination. Oh, you don't have the confetti cannons? Okay, so you can use the Mushu ones. Well, I guess it's time to put all my villagers away. Bye, everybody. I'll show you how I usually set them up. Let me set my time back. So, in this scene here, if I were to use the Mushu fireworks, it's how you place them is really going to be determined by where your background is, how far away it is, and how high up you want the fireworks. So in order for the Mushu fireworks to activate, they must be within range of your camera. So if I put them over here on the side, like right here, this will not activate, because the item that pushes my camera up is making sure that that Mushu firework is actually behind the camera. And if it's behind the camera, no activate, right? So in order for the Mushu fireworks to trigger, they have to be within camera range. So I would have to take away my lights here, which are going to make my fireworks and my baskets in the front a little darker, as you can see, due to the vignette. But I could put one firework here, and then one here, and one here. And now when I open the camera, you're going to see this big old dragon head in front of me. But once I activate the fireworks, they'll shoot off. And now we don't see that. Now we would just wait. And then you'll get them pretty high up in your skyline. You see this cluster right here? So if you want the fireworks, like, occupying your skyline behind you, you'll need to have them pretty close to the front of where you're pushing up the camera. Because if you were to take these fireworks and put them back here, they're going to end up exploding a little lower in the horizon, and you're going to be left with these weird bamboo pieces in your snap without the fireworks on them. So now if we activate the fireworks, you'll see they're going to be a little lower this time. So, oops. Instead of the fireworks being up here, now they're down here. And that's why if you want the fireworks up high in your sky and you're pushing your camera forward, they're going to need to be way towards the front of your scene. Now, another thing you could do is you could point them outward like this. Like if you take these fireworks and you rotate them a little bit, now this one is going to fly off and blow up over here. You can kind of follow their trajectory. This one's going to fly off and blow up over here, and this one is going to fly off and blow up at the back of the scene. So now if we open the camera and we activate visual effects again, we'll have them spread out a little bit more. So there's some here, there's these here, and then there's these here. I know my night show fireworks are also going off right now, so maybe I should move those out so you can just see these ones. Let me just try to remember how I have these set up, because I do want to use this. You know what? What I'll do is I'll mark where they are. Let's put a water lily here and a water lily here, and one on the other side and one here. So the firework will have to go in between those. Okay, that way I can make sure I put it back in the right spot. And I'll do the same thing for my confetti cans, because I'm going to move them out too so you can see only the fireworks. That way I can just make sure I put them back in the right spot, because I'm probably going to use this snap. I don't think I'm going to have time to make a different build. I will change this one and change the way I have the characters. Might change my outfit, I don't know. Okay, there we go. Now we should only see these Mushu fireworks. So let's trigger these. And boom. As you can see, we've spread them out a bit. Now they're kind of covering a bit more of the sky. But with only one here, it's not as impactful as having the handful that we did. So it's really just a lot of trial and error. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the 3 here to get a lot of fireworks in the middle. And then we're going to put another one here and another one here where we had those confetti cannons. Those should still activate since the confetti cannons were activating. Yeah, we can still see them. So you see the Mushu firework here and the Mushu firework here. As long as they're visible, they will activate when you activate the effect. And now we should have fireworks across the whole sky this way. So let's test it. Yeah, still a little low. Might need to move this one back. I don't know if... Let me go back 2 and see if that still works. I'll take this one back 1. And we can put another firework here. And another one here. Yeah, I really like the Mushu fireworks, but they are a little trickier than many of the other firework options in the game. All right, now let's give it a try. There we go. That's a pretty big fireworks celebration there. But if we wanted some fireworks on the far left-hand and right-hand side, it's really just going to be about rotating them. Again, you just need to follow their trajectory. So for this one, we're going to rotate it left 1 angle, and this one we're going to go also left 1 angle, right 1 angle here, right 1 angle here. And then I'll put 1 here and 1 here. We'll see how that does. There we go. Now we kind of got them across the whole sky. But yeah, it's a lot of trial and error. You got to really mess around with it. They can be a bit of a headache for sure. And if we adjust our focus, they'll be a little bit more noticeable. Mel, hello. Thank you for the tier 2. Good to see you, Mel. Good to see you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Mel, I'm thankful for the tier 2. We're actually, I was just talking about this. We're actually trying to get back into the plus level 2 program. So that's very helpful, my friend. That's very helpful. We're going to be pushing for it in August. So the resubs in August are going to help a lot with that. Max says, if I sub a tier 3 in another Twitch account, can I submit for earlier review on my regular Twitch? Yeah, but you'll have to make a Discord, and you'll have to link your Discord to the new Twitch account that's on tier 3, if that makes sense. Because there's going to be a separate forum for tier 3 supporters and tier 2 supporters that you can only open if my Discord server recognizes your Discord account as the one with the tier 3. Does that make sense? So you would want to unlink your Twitch account from your... You'll want to unlink your Discord server from your current Twitch account and link your Discord account to the tier 3 Twitch account. And let's see with the focus boosted. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's pretty good. If anything, this might be too many fireworks in the middle. So we could probably... put a little bit of space in between some of these. I don't know if that one's still going to activate, though. Let's try to put a little space here. Okay, now let's try it. Yeah, like I said, it's a lot of trial and error. You just really got to play around with it. There we go. That's pretty good. I mean, I'd be happy if they were kind of popping off up here. But what you could do to fill in that spot is you could take these new fishy balloons and you can bring them up a little bit. They'll fill out this spot and this spot, and then you can have the fireworks fill out the rest. Is it bad that I'm currently eating chocolate brownies that I hid from my husband? No, of course not. Everybody should have a secret brownie stash just for them. I'm pretty sure that's like a law. All right, let me put my stuff back. Any other questions, you guys? Any other questions regarding this week's Dreamsnap Challenge before we skedaddle? Dang, I didn't even... We spent so long going over Dreamsnap results today that I did not even get to work on Ralph's quests. I guess we'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow... Well, no, we got Dreamsnap reviews tomorrow. Well, tomorrow we'll do some snap reviews, and I'm not going to have the new Tier 3 forum and Tier 2 forum set up until Monday, so tomorrow we'll just review as normal. And the Tier 3 and Tier 2 forums will be set up by Monday. So when we do the Monday stream, we'll have those new forums. Yeah, my villager toggle's working, Glitter Elk. I did see somebody earlier saying they were having an issue with theirs, but if you watch my YouTube video today, you'll see in my Dreamsnap tip video, I have all my villagers set up as per normal. Counterday, thank you for the Prime sub. Much appreciated, much appreciated. Counterday says, thank you for all you do. Wouldn't use my Prime sub for anyone else. Well, it's a huge honor, my friend. It's a huge honor. That's why I think Prime sub should count. So, you know, if it were up to me, I would change that. Because they're not free, you know? You got to pay for Amazon Prime just to get one of those. That's a good bit. That's a good bit. Always an honor to get those. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Counterday. Thank you. But yeah, my villager toggle seems to be working as normal. I haven't had any issues with it. But I have seen a few people, or I think one other person earlier today was saying they had an issue with their villager toggle. I know you probably already tried this, but, you know, anytime there's some kind of new bug in Dreamlight Valley, always recommend restarting. And I know when we first got the new villager toggle, it was actually broken in Mythopia. So maybe, where are you? Where are you using it? Because I know when they first rolled out the new villager toggle, it would not work in Mythopia. I've only tested mine out here in the Plaza Island, my Glade Island. Let me see if it works on my Glade. I'll check that. Because, I mean, there's always a chance, like, they've made a mistake and now it's, like, messed up in another area, you know? Wouldn't put it past them. Just throw on some villagers here. Okay, let's see. Glade Island test. Seems fine. Oh, Soko, I covered that in today's video, actually. So, if you haven't watched today's YouTube guide on this week's theme, since it is such a good week to utilize a lot of villagers, I actually covered pretty much everything you need to know about the villager toggle and the graying out of villagers. This is actually very common thing, when you summon a bunch of villagers with a villager summoning item, there's a good chance some of them will start talking. So, when two villagers start talking, if you open your camera while they're having a dialogue, they will appear grayed out until they finish their dialogue. So if you open your villager toggle and two or more of the villagers can't be selected because they're gray, you have to close your camera, you have to find those villagers, and you have to let their little speech bubbles finish playing out. But yeah, that and more is covered in today's YouTube guide, actually. So I highly recommend, especially for this week's challenge, I covered some really fun tips for this week's theme. And that was one of the things we discussed was
Today we'll be the popsicles,
the villager toggle.
Concert, and the small rip.
Where is it?
Do manage to slip out just inside the fenced-in area. Now that we've discussed how to get the any of them do, then you'll go into furniture mode, remove a section of the fence, leave the and then repair that fence and the villager trapped inside. If any of them do manage to slip out, just open the camera tool and use the villager toggle to place them back inside the fenced-in area. Now that we've discussed a small section of the 5 minutes, it doesn't really take. We'll have everybody. Then you'll go into furniture mode. Small is summon. Huge waste of time. Really want in there. Of course, if you did this without a fenced-in area, villagers you don't necessarily.
Well, somewhere in this portion of the video, when I'm talking about villager summoning, I mentioned the, unless I forgot to include it. Because I might have recorded that clip separately.
One last thing to note here is when you...
Oh, I think I did forget to include it. Dang it. Yeah, I don't think I ever added that clip in. Well, that would... Oh, man. See... That's too bad, because that's important. I really wanted to mention that, because I know people are going to ask about that. I think that's on me. I think I did not put that clip in the video. So, when you summon villagers, 2 things you need to know when you summon a bunch of villagers. Number 1, if you summon a ton of villagers to your island, one thing that's bound to happen is a few of them will start having a dialogue. When they have a dialogue, if you open your toggle, they'll appear grayed out. Like Mother Gothel is grayed out here. Actually, I think she's bugged because she was talking to Scar. And then I reset the island and Scar's not here anymore. But yeah, Mother Gothel's been trying to talk to Scar. And now I think she's stuck. So I would have to restart to get her fixed. But earlier, she was trying to talk to Scar. Scar's not here, so now she's stuck. So when they're grayed out, it'll usually be a pair of them. You need to find that pair, and you need to be close enough to where their audio bubbles trigger, or their little dialogue bubbles. You let the bubbles play through, and then as soon as they're done talking, they'll be available. The other reason a villager might not show up here at all is if you open your camera while a villager is sitting down or hanging out with you, those villagers will not be an option for the toggle. So let's see if we can get somebody. No, they're not going to sit. But let's say hypothetically Elsa sat down and then I opened my camera toggle. She would not even appear. She wouldn't be grayed out. She would just be completely absent. Just like if I were to hang out with a villager, they'll be completely absent from the toggle. So if I hang out with Elsa and then I open my camera toggle, you'll see Elsa's no longer available here at all. So that's really the main things you need to know is if they sit down, they will, and then you open your camera, they will not be available. So if you're trying to pause somebody sitting down, you'll have to have your camera open before they sit so that you can access them, and then you'll have to pause them when they do sit. Actually, you can't even pause them when they sit because they changed that. They changed that. Because in order to pause them, you have to choose where they are. So yeah, you can't even do that anymore. So there's no way to pause them while they sit. You just have to snap your photo right when they sit down. I wish they would add a sit option. They really need to add a sit option to the toggle. Oh, I thought they were talking for a second. I was going to show you the grayed out. But yeah, if you're having an issue with their grayed out, that's why. They're having dialogue. I can't believe I forgot to put that clip in. That sucks. That was going to be very helpful for a lot of people. Glitter said it's letting me toggle a villager normally, and then it seems to break after I place the first one. What does it do? What does it do? When you, like, do they start moving? Do they just unfreeze? Is that what's happening? Is that what's happening when you place additional villagers? That's a headache. Because the villager toggle is an extremely, extremely useful. Look at my budget golden kappa here. I don't even know who that is. Yago? I actually do have the golden kappa. There we go. Yeah, idle got fixed. Idle got fixed. So now when you use the villager toggle, idle's not just going to be what they were doing before. It's just going to have them standing completely idle. So in the past, if you cycled through, idle is right after angry. So when you went to idle, they would just stay angry. But now, idle just has them standing there chilling. So idle is good. They did fix that. They did fix that. Been having trouble the last few weeks where I post a snap, then the week after, it's just gone. You mean in... What do you mean, Green Rabbit Gaming? Where I post a snap? Do you mean for reviews? Or do you mean for, like, your Dreamsnap in general? Like, in the game, you're submitting a snap and then it's disappearing? Yeah, I saw they fixed the Mythopia bug. I saw that. Dreamsnaps in general. Could be a connection issue, like it's not uploading to their cloud. What I would recommend doing, Green Rabbit, here's my recommendation for you. Always save your Dreamsnaps to your photo gallery first. Save multiple different copies. And once you have it saved, the next thing you'll want to do is upload it from your gallery. So you go to your photo gallery, and then you submit to Dreamsnaps from here. So we would submit here, say yes. And once you do this, if it doesn't save, if it doesn't say your picture was correctly submitted, then at least you still have it in your gallery. So that way you could try to submit it again. Once it says your picture was correctly submitted, make sure you go to Dreamsnaps, go to current challenge, and press click or check submission. So like on Xbox, it says press A to check submission. So we just press A, and then we can see the submission here. If you can check submission and it shows up, it's not going away. It will not disappear. It will not go away. It's uploaded to their server. But you need to confirm that it is uploaded. You need to double check here. So my advice there would be make sure you use the gallery. That way, if for some reason it fails to submit and it's not showing up there, you can just keep on trying to submit from your gallery. It sounds like you might, if you're on Wi-Fi, like with Switch or something, or other platforms, what might be happening is when you go to submit it, it's not properly loading. That way, if you save it to your gallery, you should have, you know, a hard copy in your gallery, and you can try to submit it from here multiple times till it works. Pinky Steps that I've been working on this week's Snap. I would like to know your thoughts on a Christmas in July theme. I think it's going to be a little risky to take that route. The thing is, voters love simple, right? Now, that doesn't mean you can't get 4K with a Christmas in July theme. It really just depends on what kind of voters you receive. But I will say, I think it's going to be a little bit of a risky choice. What I like to do, what has worked well for me over the years with Dreamsnaps, is everything I put into my Snap in some way directly ties into the keywords within the theme. So what you have to think for most voters is what comes to their mind when they think of summer. And, you know, we're all aware of the whole Christmas in July thing, but if somebody asks me, hey, give me 5 words you think of with summer, go. Christmas isn't really on that list. Now, if you ask me, give me 5 things you think of when you think of winter, Christmas will be right up there. So Christmas in July is fun and clever and creative, which is why it could potentially get 4K with the right voters. But I think it would be safer to do a traditional summer street festival. Because summer street festivals, you know, there's always street festivals during the summer in my hometown. You know, it's a very common thing, especially in this, well, we have more spring festivals anyways. The Azalea Festival is really big. But when it comes to, you know, my example scene here, that's why we've incorporated a lot of things that tie in with summer. So we don't see the base of the palm trees because this is ugly, but we see the palm tree leaves on the top left and right. We see the koi fish balloons, which, why do these always change back their color? Every time I leave, I have to reset the color on these things. It's kind of annoying. I hope they fix that. I hope they fix that to where these work kind of like the smoke bombs. But sometimes, if I go in a house, they're the same, but when I come back, they're different. Like if I leave the floating island and come back, they're a different color. They're easy to change, though, at least. Anyway, that's why for the summer festival here, we have ice cream, we have shaved ice, we have popsicles, and then another thing that really comes to mind when you think of summer is like being by water. So that's why we're playing up the fountains and the big riverway here. And then things like fireworks kind of tie in with like the 4th of July and the festival vibe. In addition to that, we're using a lot of summer dream styles like Summer Merlin and Summer Scrooge. And if you don't have those dream styles, there's a lot of good styles you can use for this week's theme, just default styles. Like I would say default Jasmine is even better than Celebration Jasmine. Even though Celebration Jasmine fits a celebration better, regular Jasmine has like more of the open sleeves. It's very summer friendly kind of outfit. And then for villagers like Anna, most of what she has is very winter inspired, but her Arendelle gown can work really well for warm weather. So there's a lot of outfits and things that work well for like warm weather. And for the festival vibes, like Magician Mickey is really good, or even Sweetheart Mickey. But default villagers like Moana, Ariel, Eric, they're going to work really good because, you know, for they're ocean villagers, so they're going to play well with summer. So yeah, Christmas in July is a fun concept. You know, I know there's a lot of people that do Christmas in July, but I've never really heard of Christmas in July being part of a big street festival. So I think it could be tricky, but it could work. You never know. You never know. It's just going to depend on your voters, and on how the scene looks, how it all comes together. I will say I think there's definitely safer routes you can do for this particular theme. I think that are going to, because the last thing I'll say about it is that when it comes to a lot of voters, those of us that put a lot of time, effort, and thought into our snaps, we are a minority. If you go vote in a Dreamsnaps challenge right now, most of what you're going to see are hastily thrown together selfies, quest photos, empty fields with like 5 or 6 items placed. Most people are just throwing together something to just get a quick 300 and 900 moonstones. They don't really care. They're just there to get free moonstones. Why not? You know, why not submit something? And that's a majority, right? Especially if people are busy trying to do the STARPATH. Maybe they're not really into it. They're just like, I'm just going to put something out there. On top of that, the current STARPATH also requires to vote. Oh, it did ask us to submit one. So since the current STARPATH has people submitting Dreamsnaps, there's also a lot of random selfies out there because of that. The people that don't really put a lot of time or thought into their Dreamsnaps, they're also not going to really do that for voting either. They quickly submit something to get 300 to 600 or 900 moonstones, and they're also going to quickly vote to get their 50 moonstones. Those voters are going to make their mind up very fast, and that's why simple snaps that are very, very clear with the theme and don't mix in outside ideas and concepts tend to outperform ones that do, unless they get lucky and they get the right type of voter that's going to stop and think about it. So designing your snaps in a way to be very clear, very direct, and very simple, in this case with the concept of summer, street, and festival. So making sure it feels like a street festival, making sure it feels like summer is likely going to make the submission a bit safer with those fast voters, because if they see Christmas and then they see a regular summer festival, they might say, well, okay, summer, and they're just going to click on the summer one. So that would be my advice there. I think it's a fun concept. I think it's interesting. So if you really want to go for it, and it would be a lot of fun for you, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. You know, Dreamsnap should be fun. You should be enjoying yourself. But if it doesn't perform as strongly as you would have hoped, you know, you'll kind of know why. You probably got voters that were not trying to read too deep into it, and they just tend to gravitate towards those more simple and direct concepts. Read Christmas in July. To be fair, though, the target audience July does have a lot of overlap with Christmas in July fans, but even still, in my opinion, I'd side with Simple I's recommendation on it. Much, much safer, more reliable to dodge those Christmas vibes. Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. You know, and it's hard to say when you'll get that overlap. That's the tough thing. You know, we have no control over what kind of voters we receive, and we have no control over what kind of snaps we're up against. So, with most of my submissions, what's worked really well for me is going out of my way to design the photo in a way to where the theme can be guessed, even if you've never read the theme. So for Fabled Relics, we're going to showcase a Fabled Relic, and we're going to have those elements of adventure and the lurking creatures and the crawling vines, everything that the theme mentioned. For in your element, you know, we're going to make it all about the element. For Lazy Cozy Day, we're going to make sure we're very low energy. We have a very relaxed expression. Nobody is super energetic, and we got some nice sleepy vibes. For Explosion of Color, well, we're going to have an explosion of color. For Cherished Childhood, we're going to have a very childlike avatar and loads of playful villagers. Pretty much everyone that seems playful or youthful, we're going to highlight in this type of scene. For Journey into Imagination, since we're making a world fair, you know, we're presenting our valley, so we're going to dress as formal, you know, and present our industry and our technology, and we're going to highlight a very big crowd because a world fair is a very big event. For Kingdom of Beauty, we're going to focus on having a kingdom And we're going to highlight very beautiful villagers with a very beautiful pose and just try to really play up the beauty element. For legendary moments, you know, we're going to try to, it talked about, you know, mythical creatures. So we have little Cerberus, we have Pegasus, and we're using, you know, that godly glamour outfit and the laurel and some of the, you know, Hercules-themed items here. For forested book nook, we're going to make sure we construct a small nook, because the definition of nook is like a small corner or space. So we're going to make a very small little space in the scene. And to make sure it comes off as a book nook, we're going to make sure we have plenty of books here, and we're going to have a pose that has us showcasing that, so it's very hard to miss. You get the idea, right? It's like, essentially, whatever the theme is, the safest, typically, you know, not the only way, by the way, it's not the only way to do Dream Snaps. It's the safest route to 4K, is leaving outside elements out and having everything that goes in tie directly into the description and title. And that way, you're going to be able to win over the very picky voters. And if your photo's beautiful, you'll be able to win over the non-picky voters. You'll be able to get both demographics. And that's really what you want to look out for in Dream Snaps, is you want to build your snap in a way to where it can win more votes. Because that's what it's all about now. You know, it's just about the votes. It's like running for office. Like, if you want to be mayor, you know, everybody in your town wants free donuts, but you want free cookies. If you run on free cookies, it's going to be harder to get votes. But if you run on free donuts, you know, you'll probably get the votes. I don't know. I'd vote for free donuts. Though, keep in mind, this is only something you should consider if your primary goal is to get 4K and open your wallet less. If you're making your Dream Snaps strictly for fun and you got deep pockets, you can buy all the moonstones you could ever possibly want, do what you want to do. Have fun. Have fun, you know? Moonstones are always available to buy. If your primary objective is just to have fun making what you want to make, do whatever you want to do. If you want to both... Now, what I do is I try to have as much fun as possible while also making my snap as competitive as I can, because that's what I enjoy. That's just what I enjoy. I enjoy building something I think the voters are going to gravitate towards. I have a lot of fun with that. It's kind of like a strategy game in my head. Like, I love strategy. I love good competition. So, for me, the most fun that I have in Dream Snaps is trying to conceptualize how to make my theme as obvious and as clear as possible, to where I'm as safe as possible, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of that, you know? But for other people, it doesn't feel that way, you know? Other people feel like if they try to give the voters what they want, that they're somehow missing out, or, you know, they don't get to do what they want to do. So, you know, everybody's a little bit different. Just depends. Oh, Frank, the new fish, the koi fish that you see here, these are in the current StarPath. They're in the new StarPath. They're these little koi fish. They're like balloons or something. I love these things. And they change color, too. Frank. They're really fun. So, they're called the Neon Koi Lanterns. And they glow, and they have, like, fans inside of them. And they bob around. And they can be purple. They can be green. They could be red. It just goes purple again, I guess. It goes purple, red, blue, green, purple, red. Oh, it didn't change twice that time. That's weird. Oh, I see what's happening. When I leave and come back, it shows purple even though it's not supposed to be. So watch this. Okay, you know how purple comes after green? Or actually, let's do this. It goes blue, green, purple, right? So green should be next and then purple. When I come back, this one's going to be purple, but then it's going to go green, then purple. Watch this. I think I figured it out. So they coded these wrong, I think. I think they coded these wrong by mistake. So they are supposed to be the same color when you come back, but apparently that's not taking, and it's still showing purple. Because I think they were trying to code these the same way they coded this. You see how they're all purple? But I think the game believes that this fish is still green or blue or whatever color I had it at. I think it still thinks it's blue. So even though purple should be 4 colors away, it's going to be purple in 2 colors. So green, purple. There it is. Yeah. So it thought it was still blue. Because green comes after blue. So there's blue, there's green, there's purple. Red, blue, green, purple. Red, blue, green, purple. But when we came back, it was showing purple, but the next color was green. So it is bugged. Look at that. We figured it out, guys. We figured out what was going on with the fish. The game thinks it's the right color, but it's not. Okay, well, that's nice. All right. Well, you guys, that'll be it for today. We ended up streaming for about an extra 45 minutes to answer some Dreamsnap questions, but I think we cover most. of it. Oh, yeah. Dekai, I kept telling you I actually opened your message this time because I keep on forgetting. I apologize for having the memory span of a goldfish, Dekai. I really do. I am not intentionally ignoring your Discord DM. I am so sorry. I told you like the last 3 or 4 streams in a row I was going to check your message. Truth is, right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 24 plus 4, 28, 32, 33. Plus message request, 35. I have 35 unread Discord messages at the moment. That's the big reason why I have not remembered, because my Discord DM box is a little out of hand right now, and it has been ever since I came back from Florida. So if any of you guys have sent me a Discord DM and I have not seen it, you know why. I gotta catch. I couldn't do it today. I wasn't able to do it yesterday. Pretty much today, all day, I was working on that Dreamsnap guide. But I will definitely. I have it open right now. I'll read it as soon as the stream is over, my friend. I apologize. I feel bad. I feel bad. So many times I told you I was going to read your Discord DM. So many times I failed. I don't know why I made that so complicated. But thank you for reminding me. Thank you. Last thing here, I'm going to give you guys a link to today's YouTube video as I'm on the way out. I have a full guide for this week's Dreamsnap theme, as we do every week, unless I'm out of town or something along those lines. So, yeah, we've only missed 2 weeks since I started doing this. This is episode number 29 of our weekly Dreamsnap tips. So for 29 weeks, we've dropped a guide for each specific challenge. And I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a link to that video if you have not seen it yet. So if you're looking for any more information about this challenge, I got a great guide for you right here. And I will be back tomorrow. We'll be live around the normal time. I should not be late at all tomorrow because I don't have to spend all day making a Dreamsnap scene and editing a video before the live. I'm actually pretty excited to be done working. I've been sitting behind this computer since 9 a.m. So it's been a long day, you guys. I will say, though, this has been the most fun part of the day. The stream is always the best. It gets old sitting in front of the computer editing and publishing. I do love making a good video, but boy, it gets lonely. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everyone. Oh, I see Bart as well. What's up, dude? Hello. Welcome, my friend. How you been? Long time no see, brother. Glare said a bug in Dreamlight Valley? No way. Yeah, right? That's so bizarre. Would have never saw that coming. All right, so yeah, check out the guide. If you haven't seen it yet, you guys, I will be live around the normal time tomorrow, so you can expect to see me right around 3:30 or 4, maybe even earlier if I just feel like going live early for whatever reason. And if you're still looking for your Twitch drops, click that link right there. You'll see a whole lot of other streamers that are live hosting the drops. So if you're still looking for them, there's probably somebody else live that can help you out. I would find somebody to raid, but I really got to run. As always, guys, thank you for the amazing day. And thank you for all the help and support towards the Partner Plus Level 2. I definitely think I think there's a great shot we can do it next month, and I really appreciate all the help and support. On Monday, or over the weekend, guys, I will be making, probably on Saturday, maybe Saturday night, I will be making the Twitch Supporter Tier 2 and Twitch Supporter Tier 3 Dreamsnap Review forums. So if you've already posted your Dreamsnap for review in the other forum, unless I review it on Friday, you can go ahead and remove it from that forum and put it in the Tier 3 or Tier 2 forum when it's up on Saturday. I'll make an announcement in Discord as soon as those are available. Yeah, there will be another channel for secondaries as well, Samantha. They'll have to be for both. All right, y'all. I think that's everything. I think we're good. As always, my friends, have a beautiful evening. Stay safe, stay awesome, stay healthy, and I will catch you guys all on the next one. Thank you for another amazing Thursday. Enjoy the new update, and we'll see you soon. Ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.